We be live. Hello, Durud and Shalom, and hola.
Hola, hola. How is everyone?
Good, good. How are you? How are you? This is how we're going to start every segment. Monkey, given the news in the past 24 hours, how are we feeling?
A little more optimistic.
Okay. How so?
Venezuela just renounced the ICC. There's been a lot of good things happening within the U.S. that I'm glad about. We're ramping up nuclear production and good things happening in the law as far as immigration. Now we can even deport legal migrants if they vote and they're not supposed to. There's good stuff happening within the
Okay.
U.S.
Okay, let me be more specific then. With regards to Iran and the ongoing war with the Islamic Republic, how are we feeling?
Sometimes local news is important for the war effort because if we
Oh,
are
yes.
more likely to win the midterms, it makes things in Iran a lot easier.
Okay, okay. Okay, let me just play the clip. Let me see what the update here is.
What is the exit strategy?
Well, I think there's a lot of them. There's a military exit where we just keep going just the way we are, and we can even make it a heavier dose, and it's knocking out everything they have. Or there's a smarter strategy, and that's you make a deal, and they want to make a deal. I just don't think they're ready yet, but they do want to make a deal. Sometimes they don't want to say they want to make a deal. They want to be the tough guys, but they do want to make a deal. There's two ways. I mean, it's you can just keep doing exactly what we're doing and take them apart piece by piece. We could do it in a more rapid fashion, which we might do, or we can negotiate with them, which we're also doing right now. I mean, as we speak, we're talking to them.
And you said today that Russia and China.
I wonder which one is going to be, which one are you leaning towards? Like, there are three options, right? So there's, he said, look at,
Knocking out everything they have.
so they could either go right or left. This is, this is many of us have this. The first option is the preferred option that many of us have here. Well, not knocking out everything that they have, but at least knocking out the regime. This is what I don't understand. I'm all for knocking out as much infrastructure as needed if they are needed to get rid of the Islamic Republic. What I do not understand is why are we not trying the option of letting Israel take out all of the remaining heads of the regime and see the effect of that before we go to that option. Again, I understand that infrastructure destruction, dual use infrastructure destruction is, if necessary, the benefit of it is more than the cost of it, even though the cost might be very high. But if we're going on a step by step process to try everything before we do that, why not just try? Because we know Israel can do this. We know Israel could go in and take out all of the remaining heads of the regime. Why not just, and it doesn't cost the United States much to just sit back and, I mean, I know it costs them some because they, once Israel does this, they need to defend Israel, help defend Israel when it comes to the reaction. So it's not like it's zero cost. But why not just let them, United States could step back and watch Israel, just go like, okay, you're not dealing with us. Let's take out another layer. We took out layer one, we took out layer two. How about we take out layer three, four, five, six, and seven at the same time, and then look, watch and see what happens. And then maybe if it's needed at that point, you do some infrastructure. I suspect that by that point, you wouldn't need to do any more infrastructure damage. I think by that point, there's nobody to, even when it comes to dual use, like who's there left to do dual use. So why not just do that? Monkey, why not just do that?
Because it's not as easy as it sounds. You have to have the right timing, and timing is everything. We don't know that that's the plan already, but they're not all aligned in a way that you could do maximum damage. Because as soon as you take out five, whatever plans or methods the others have, they will change. So when you take out a layer, you want to make sure that that first strike kills as many as possible. right? So it's easy for us to say, oh, Israel can just knock out 3 layers like it's nothing. But it took Israel a long time to get that first layer in one room. And after that first layer is one room, the people that have been taken out one by one, not all at once. And every time one of them gets taken out, all of their security changes. So saying from one's mouth, it's so easy for this to get done. Sure, you could say that. Do we know that? We don't know that. We don't know for a fact that you could hit a button and just call Israel, yeah, just knock out 3 layers, and they could do it. I don't doubt that they have a lot of intel. I don't doubt that they have capabilities to get a lot of them. But knocking down 3 layers in one go, that might be a little out there. Like, I mean, I'm just a grunt. But if you talk to many layers of military expert that understand how infiltration and the tactics used for espionage work, they're probably going to tell you it's not as easy as you're making it sound.
Yeah, I wasn't trying to say it's easy at all, but if anybody could do it, it's Israel that could do it. So, thanks for that addition, guys. One thing I need to mention to you guys: Israel within Mossad, they have people at the highest level of the regime, at every layer of the Islamic Republic. There are Mossad agents that are involved in the decision making process of the Islamic Republic. So this is something that, again, it's obviously not 100% easy. That, as you know, I shouldn't like use the word easy, because we know, for example, the pager attack. What took years, for example, for Israel to be able to prepare that. It's not like a easy button that they could press and just things happen, for sure, for sure. But we also, like, I just want to make sure that we know that, you know, if anybody could do it, is Israel, and Israel has demonstrated that they are very, very eager and ready to go do such a thing. And I think at this stage, my main point is still this. My main point is not how many layers can we take at the same time. I mean, maybe I shouldn't have added that, because it derailed the conversation to something else. My main point is that between infrastructure and taking out regime leaders, we should focus right now first. I think maybe, based on taking out more regime leaders and see the effect of that before we go to dual use infrastructure takeout. And I say that as somebody who is not against taking infrastructure that is dual use when necessary. That was the point I was trying to make. But let's go to see President Trump giving us the list again, because I want to see what
Wait,
the
hold
cat.
on. Let
Yep.
me comment on that. I think it's the wrong focus. It's absolutely the wrong focus. It's not how many layers you take. It's not whether they remove a nuclear deal or if they open the strait. It's the absolute removal of the IRGC. You can't make a deal with these people. The weakness that we have and the weakness that the IRGC have right now is the focus on nuclear. If the IRGC decided to go mask off, we're going to kill anyone that's not going for the deal. We're going to open the strait. We're going to let the inspectors in, and anybody that doesn't like it will kill. Go full mask off, and people will try to say it's impossible, but we've seen it happen in so many countries that I don't know how anyone would think that. Then they get to stay in power. And if they get to stay in power, what they could do with the missile technology they can create, because they have the means and the knowledge to make it, and biological weapons, make the nuclear look like a joke. We went through COVID. That was a worldwide thing. You're giving people that have a penchant on apocalyptic intent, if they're pushed against the wall, time and money. If you accept, oh, we're not going to have nuclear, okay, time and money to create a gun to the world's head, where they could have a small outbreak, demonstrate virality, and tell the world, we will create another worldwide pandemic if we don't get our way. This needs to be taken care of now. I don't want any type of deal. I don't care how many layers are taken. I want I want an elimination of these people of being government. making a deal with them recognizes them as a government. I don't want them recognized as a government.
Right. So this is exactly, I agree. This is why the focus should be on IRGC and anything that stops the complete destruction of the IRGC. This is why we need to go and take out the heads of IRGC and anything that stands in our way to destroy the IRGC. This is why I say the focus should be on going out and taking out the leadership, which brings the attention back to removing the IRGC. That's exactly what I was.
No.
Okay.
Let me explain myself. I've explained
Yes.
myself incorrectly. That wasn't the point I was trying to get across. A layer implies that there is an acceptable layer beneath. I don't care how many layers. I don't care if they don't take one more of them out. Recognition of any of them as an acceptable government is my problem. It's not how many of them are alive. Like, even if they're all alive, I would, as of right now, declare them not a
All right.
government, not a people I can work with. And even if we kill them now or later, I would say we need a transitional government. That's the
All right,
kind of
I do wanna-
recognition I want to remove.
I do want to play this video, and I'm not negating what you're saying. There shouldn't be recognition. I'm just saying. After this, I want to move on with this video, if I may. But I just want to say that based on what I know about the IRGC, taking out people right now and the Islamic Republic, this is the right thing to do. With the next step. Okay, I don't know what we're even talking about now, but let me just play the video.
What is the exit strategy?
Well, I think there's a lot of them. There's a military exit where we just keep going just the way we are, and we can even make it a heavier dose, and it's knocking out everything they have. Or there's a smarter strategy, and that's you make a deal, and they want to make a deal. I just don't think they're ready yet, but they do want to make a deal. Sometimes they don't want to say they want to make a deal. They want to be the tough guys, but they do want to make a deal. There's two ways. I mean, it's you can just keep doing exactly what we're doing and take them apart piece by piece. We could do it in a more rapid fashion, which we might do, or we can negotiate with them, which we're also doing right now. I mean, as we speak, we're talking to them.
And you said today that Russia and China are not helping. Earlier this week, the War Secretary Hegseth said that they are enabling. So what is the difference?
Well, I don't know that they're enabling. I mean, I will tell you that President Xi said he will not partake, and President Putin said the same thing. I think, I trust them. They've had a long-term relationship. There could be some things they do, but thus far, at least, it has not been major. I don't think they'd want to have me disappointed.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube.
All right, so let me actually get a more detailed and overview of what is being planned here.
Those continued strikes come as the president's
Hold on.
reportedly reaching the end of his rope with Iran's regime, and now
Guys, if you have questions in the chat, let us know. I'm going to try to keep an eye on the question because I've been following what's happening and what the effect of the recent talks, recent statements by President Trump has been internally on the Islamic Republic. So if you're wondering what's happening within the Islamic Republic and how they're responding to this, and what I think the best strategy is going forward based on my based on what the narratives and the infighting within the Islamic Republic is, and what your suggestion yourself is, like what would you do if you were in charge, and if you want to do it, just a check, just run it by us to see if you think it makes sense. Let us know in the chat, and I will start your questions. Okay, so and I'll try responding to them. For example, this one. So, Armin, what do you think is the next step with Iran? I mean, that's what I just said. I think the next step right now is to send a message to the Islamic Republic and weaken them at the same time. I think it will have a major effect if we go and let Israel continue doing what they were doing during Operation Epic Fury. Just go in and take as many of the regime, not just the regime leaders, but also some lower personnel, like like secondary, third, like the people who are on the ground fighting, hunting them down, not just when they're at their launchers, but also where they are, when not with their family, but if you could find them and take them out while they're just doing their normal living. The people, the regime officials, the people who operate the launchers, the people who operate IRGC at the ground level, they're in the field. If you could go hunt just a few of them down and take them out where they live, I mean, if they, as long as, you're not taking out their family in a way that you're not, maybe like when they're going out and buying milk or something, whatever, right? Or they're driving in their car, so, something like that. Then that mix of taking more heads of regimes, especially IRGC, especially the negotiation facing track, I think they should be taken out so that we could completely remove this whole recognition. I mean, if you want to remove the recognition of the Islamic Republic, then you could take out the negotiation facing track. You could take out Araghchi, you could take out Ghalibaf. That would be the complete end of recognizing the Islamic Republic as an entity that you could even talk to, because then you're not just taking out IRGC, you're taking out the people that were supposed to be the face of the Islamic Republic. That would basically end the entire legitimacy. You are announcing to the Islamic Republic and to the world that you don't recognize the legitimacy of the Islamic Republic if the very people that you're talking to are removed. For example, Sham Khani and Larijani, them being removed was exactly that message. So Ghalibaf and Araghchi, I think, should be next on your target. And they're easily accessible. They're way more easily accessible than somebody like Vahidi, for example, that is constantly hiding in a hole. Taking out, they are easy. This one is easy. Araghchi and Ghalibaf is easy right now to take out because they come out. We're seeing them coming out. They do interviews, and we know Musa is constantly monitoring them and they know where they are. But other than taking out the negotiation facing track, that would remove the complete legitimacy of the Islamic Republic. If you also go out and take out the foot soldiers, then you will put the fear in these people's heart, because right now, many of the launcher boys, as they like to call them, or the people who operate the drones, sometimes think that the only time that they're at risk is when they are working, when they're digging a hole, when they are at the launcher, right? And they think that other times they're safe. At other times, when they're sleeping at home, when they are going outside, it's only the regime leaders that are targeted. If you target the foot soldiers of the Islamic Republic, even just some of them, while they're basically busy doing their life things, then this job will become so much more riskier. Like, you don't even need to do all of them. You need to do some of them just to send a message. And by just sending a message, then you're going to increase defection. You're going to increase defection at a much higher level, because they're not going to feel safe. They don't want to do this job. Whatever they're getting paid is not going to be enough for this job.
I'd like to.
Go on, Mikey. Yes, go ahead.
I completely disagree. Absolutely disagree. They need to lose recognition while they're alive. You can't kill them and say, "Oh, I can't negotiate with anyone." I said, "Well, you can't negotiate with anybody because you killed them." I think they need to lose recognition now as a government, now, while they're alive. Then go ahead and kill them all. They need to lose recognition now. Every second that they have recognition of them as a government is a second that they could accept the deal. And letting them accept the deal and go through the process of actually fulfilling it would be the greatest mistake we ever make. There should not be one more second where they are recognized as a government. Not one more second where Ghalibaf can come inside. Not one more second where Aragachi can come inside. Not 1 millisecond where they have enough recognition to sign a deal. That recognition should be absolutely removed, alive or dead. We can kill them all later if you want. We can get them one-on-one. We can, flay them. I don't, whatever you want to do with them, that's fine. Every second that these people have enough recognition to sign a deal, it's a problem.
Yeah, I think you should kill I think Israel should kill Ghalibaf, Araghchi. That is the highest priority. Rouhani, Khatami, and Javad Zarif. Those are the highest priorities to take out. I think that would have the most effect. I know Texas. I'm not saying we pause off operations. What I'm saying is that this is the direction of the operation that needs to go. And Kaveh, thank you so much for being a member. And Tin Lee, thank you so much for the super chat saying to exit. You can go back or go through other side. Or go through other side. Yeah. Okay. All right. Thank you, Tin Lee. Appreciate the super chat. And then AP with the super chat saying Trump cannot overtly use regime change to achieve stated goals. He must pretend to use diplomacy force to move towards the end we all know is coming. Yeah, I agree with that. I'm not saying that Trump should, Trump always likes to keep the door open, and it does make sense. I don't disagree with that. As long as the operations are, I mean, I have been, I've been losing. A lot of people disagree with me. I have been defending what Trump has been doing with negotiations and MOU. I don't think the MOU actually got the Islamic Republic anything that they wanted. And also, I'm the one who has said like multiple times here that the MOU and negotiations has weakened the Islamic Republic to the point that Trump is the only person that has managed to hurt the Islamic Republic where no one else could, which is the ideological roots of the Islamic Republic, the internal divisions and the lack of faith that now that the regime supporters have in the Islamic Republic is mostly because of what Trump had done with the negotiation. And actually, I think President Trump managed to do something that made the Islamic Republic walk into a trap. And it was an obvious trap, and they still fell for it. It was an obvious trap, and they still fell for it, and they walked right into it. So yeah, I mean, I'm not against negotiations. The negotiations should bring the Islamic Republic to a surrender deal rather than a peace deal, rather than a ceasefire deal, and I think we're moving in that direction. All I'm saying is that based on what I'm seeing, based on the weaknesses of the Islamic Republic, once the operations start, one of the most effective things they could do right now is to take out another layer of leadership. And my priority would be Ghalibaf and Arakchi and anyone else that could continue negotiations. And thank you, AP Motors, for the super chat.
I absolutely disagree.
I know, I heard that. Bill saying, Armin's saying what I think exactly. Well, thank you, Bill. Okay, let me see. Okay, let me just. I don't know if that's. I think I started that, but it's okay. Let me see what the update here is.
Thank you. Face tripping.
Those continued strikes come as the president's reportedly reaching the end of his rope with Iran's regime and now considering a full-scale military assault. He's also weighing in today on other global players in this conflict, saying he has agreement now from Vladimir Putin and Xi Jinping that they will not sell weapons to Iran.
Retired U.S. Navy Rear Admiral Mark Montgomery will join us right here in moments.
But first, to go to Chief International Correspondent Steve Harrigan. He's in Tel Aviv this afternoon for us. Hi, Steve.
Jillian, ship traffic through the Strait of Hormuz really almost at a complete standstill. Just 3 ships a day for the past 3 days passing through that strait. And this happens as U.S. forces continue to grind away night after night, attacking Iranian military positions inside of Iran. Last night, the 13th night in a row. The attacks began about 2 a.m. They lasted for more than 2 hours' time. President Trump spoke to Axios, warned about a potential massive invasion of Iran, but he did say he hadn't reached that decision yet. The thing President Trump stresses over and over is that Iran cannot be allowed to have a nuclear weapon. Here's the president.
We're doing very well against the Islamic Republic of Iran. We're doing extremely well. They would like to do something, but I say they're not ready yet. They need more of the same. They're not ready yet. They got some evil intentions. We cannot let them have a nuclear weapon.
One sign, perhaps, of a bigger battle ahead on the horizon. A number of mayors of Israeli cities have opened up bomb shelters across the country. They usually do that when the threat level has been raised. It is raised now. Jillian, back to you.
Steve, we're hearing increased chatter from administration officials through reporters that the president is considering making some kind of a major military move and escalation in this conflict. What are you hearing from your sources on the ground in the region?
I think it's clear by the surge in forces, the surge not only in material, but also things like medics to Germany, that there is a range of options for the president.
Yeah, so the medics in Europe is a huge indication. Let me know, guys, if you think that is true, because I think that is the main signal that something might be happening pretty soon. That is the main signal. I mean, again, nothing is 100%, but at least the chances of something happening very soon, to me at least, seems that with the medics there, that is the greatest, one of the, more than the fuel tankers, more than the what they're saying, more than what they're posting, more than anything else. I think the medics being there suggests that something serious is about to happen.
It increases probability drastically. I've always said, don't look at what they say, look at where they're moving what.
Yes, exactly.
With 50,000 forces in the region, there's certainly a wide range of options he can have, including what he says, a massive invasion, a massive attack. That's something that certainly people here feel. They sense it could be coming. Bomb shelters are open. People are on really high alert walking around. There is a sense of tension in the region. But of course, the president, one of his great strengths is that he's unpredictable. So whether he'll take that route or whether he'll use it for a compromise or a deal, still not clear at this point.
Yeah, and Steve, a big obvious part of the equation here has been the rise in energy prices as things have been escalating. We see oil back near that $90 mark, although it is down just a bit today. Gas prices here at home have topped $4 a gallon in this escalation, in this phase of the war. Steve, how much are you hearing that this puts pressure on the situation and increases the urgency?
Certainly, that's been a key factor. The president and the administration aware of the pain that those high gas prices cause people. Of course, gas jumping over, oil jumping over $100 a barrel briefly this week. That's when the Houthis opened up a potential second front. They attacked 2 Saudi oil tankers in the Red Sea. So you have the problems in the Strait of Hormuz, Saudi Arabia trying to go around that through the Red Sea, now attacks by the Houthis there. That really spiked oil prices. That is another problem, a potential second front for this administration to deal with.
All right, Steve, we've got to leave it there. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Stay close.
What do you think effect of the oil prices is going to be on the decision-making process that President Trump is making?
It could play a part, but I think a shift would take long to play out on midterms, and that's the only thing that might affect it. I think more pain now is better than stretching it out. As far as letting it keep going until the midterms, prices are going to take a month or 2 to reflect at the pump. So doing it now is better than later if we're talking about pain at the pump. Because right now, July is almost over, August, September, October, November. You got to be done by September because October is when you're campaigning. And by then, it's already got to be pretty much a lower price and more stability, which gives you 2 months.
Do you think that now that the escalation seems to be starting, this will, like, if gas prices at the pump go really high and this causes inflation, do you think that would have a huge effect on the midterms or not that much? Like with the Democrats winning? Okay.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
wouldn't
This
that be
needs to get done now.
And if the Democrats have a huge win during the midterms, do you think they would be able to significantly limit what President Trump can do against the Islamic Republic after, or no? Not that much of an effect.
It will make him what is known as a lame duck, which is a president with no power to pass laws. And without laws, without budget, you can't really do anything. It would also it will also make the case that because he was an ineffective president during the later half of his term, the Republicans should not be in power, and opens the door to a Democrat presidency, which would be the revival of the IRGC.
Okay. Let me see this. So, wouldn't this mean that then? So this is what I have a problem with. Wouldn't this mean that? Okay, so you said that this means that this should happen fast, right? Um,
A victory,
but
not leaving things the
if,
same, not a deal, a victory.
Mhm. But isn't it too late to? What do you think about somebody who says it's already too late? Like if you start escalating now, it's this is. I mean, you might get a victory, but you will. But it's not going to bring prices down before a midterm. Like you're not going to get
I would
total victory.
say
You're going to get.
yes, it will.
Mm. What kind of a victory are you looking for before the midterms?
I would look for mainly there's two things you could do. You could have a devastating military victory and then a change in status, and declare that as, look, the IRGC are no longer recognized as a governing body. We are working with a transitional government. Their bases are all destroyed. The IRGC is basically gone. They're not recognized as a governing body. No one in the world recognizes them as a governing body. We're working towards a transitional government, and their bases have been devastated. We've basically destroyed all of their facilities. And what we're working on now is a humanitarian mission where we're helping rebuild that kind of thing, and eliminate remnants. And this will be ongoing while we work with the transitional government, and you get to pull it back from the news a little bit.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, again, it's going to be tough to get a victory that ends everything, gets you victory, and such a level where things then stabilize and bring the oil prices down. All of that before the midterms. That's like a really hard thing to achieve in
I
that
think the
short.
power of declaration is underestimated. Like the power of saying, no, we recognize this as the government, and we're putting $100 billion, $200 billion in oil behind it. We're putting $500 billion into this new government, and anybody that wants to deal with with Iranian resources, Iranian oil, Iranian anything has to talk to these people. If you want any part of the oil, you have to talk to these people. If you want any part of the rare earth, you got to talk to these people, because we control the money and we control the oil. We made the escrow. They signed their names on the MOU, and they did not stand by the deal. They're not recognized as a government before we, the United States, declare it so. And whoever goes against us is going to have sanctions and tariffs.
Wait, let me see. And we got some super chats. AP Moto Arts is saying Trump cannot say we're depending on the hope that His Royal Highness takes over and gives us the dust. He must let that happen organically. Be patient, Monkey. Oh, this is directed at you. Yeah. I mean, I think
No,
Monkey agrees with. Oh,
no, I reject that wholesale.
okay. I think I do agree with that he cannot say that. He needs to let that happen organically. I do agree with that he cannot
That's
just come
fine.
and say. Yeah.
That's absolutely fine. People are absolutely within their right, and perhaps they know better than me. I'm saying I'm standing by until I see something different and my understanding of the situation changing. I stand by this being the same plan forward. Every second that they stay recognized is a problem, because what I don't want is them to surrender. I don't want any part of the IRGC to remain in power. Like, there are some concessions that can be made with the people that defect, the people that are never really held guns, right? And they never really physically hurt anybody. I don't want to do like we did to the Bath Party. But as far as the IRGC, the military component, I recognize nothing. And every second that they can sign a deal, I know what could happen. And I don't want that to be even a possibility.
Okay. Thank you, Happy Motors. I
Yes,
do
thank
agree
you.
with you. Thank you. Fleshy Interloper saying Durud Dustan. Durud Fleshy Interloper. Thank you for being here. Appreciate you. And then Fleshy Interloper with another super chat saying Trump thinks he can get a surrender. I don't know if he thinks he can. I think he wants to always give it the chance. I think that even if the chances are low, he just wants to not close the door 100%. He always wants to leave the door open in case it's possible. I think he's now skeptical. I think based on the way he talks, he's skeptical that a surrender is possible, but he's leaving all options on the table.
I
That's
think he's going to give them
that's
a
my
week. I think there's going to be some kind of like mini deal for a week, not a month, a week, and they're going to break the deal within that week. I don't want that. I think if they had if they are capable of standing by a deal for a week, that's a problem. I don't want this. This is just what I think might happen. They'll do a deal for a week. I predict they would break it, and then we or like, okay, this is not a real government. That's how I would do it. Right? If that's the only choice, I would declare them not a government now. My suspicion is they're going to get a week.
Right. And thank you, Fleshy. Thank you so much for the super chat. And then we have, how do you pronounce this? Nathaniel, I think, right? Did I pronounce it right? Nathaniel. With a super chat.
Yeah, Nathaniel.
Nathaniel, okay. Saying, what would happen to the Arab countries if all their energy consumption and production is destroyed by Iran? And isn't that actually possible? I don't think it's possible to destroy all of them, but you could, if you destroy even some of it, it would be significant damage to the sense of stability in these countries. It will devastate investment potentials, trade potentials, commerce, tourism, the commercial sides of So these companies, like everybody that does commerce, they're very risk averse. The commercial world is a very, very risk averse. Everything will become much more expensive to deal with, because when you always look at the value of things, it depends on the how you value it, the future cash flows of every business in their present value. And when the risk associated with the future cash flows increase, the present value of them decreases significantly. So even if you destroy some of them, their entire economic model and will collapse, so on itself. Like everything, you don't need to destroy everything to be able to really hurt their economy. Just even a small percentage of it will do the job. So they will be able to the question of how much damage they can do is something that a lot of people are still debating. But even a small damage will be a catastrophe for these countries' models, and that's why they fear it. So like even if you don't destroy their production capability, and there's a fear that they might, that by itself hurts them economically. Right now they're hurting just because there's an impression that the Islamic Republic could do something like that. So imagine if they do something like that, then their entire business model collapses. Remember, like a lot of businesses and trade and investments that is happening in these Arab countries around the Persian Gulf is being done based on a sense of reliable expectations of these future cash flows continuing. So if you provide even a 2%, 3% chance of that not being there, then a lot of people are going to take their cash elsewhere, and that will by itself collapse a lot of the economic infrastructure. So that's what the fear is. I don't know if that answers the question, but
I think pretty good.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. All right, look at this. We always like Jesse Waters. His updates are the best.
Fox News alert, Trump's in revenge mode. His officials are saying he's fed up with the, quote, scumbags and lunatics in Iran. 47 doesn't trust him. So now we're going to speak their language. Pain. Our forces delivering crippling strikes against Iran, hitting command centers, drone facilities, communications, and surveillance sites along the coast. And we're learning that their Gulf neighbors are done being punching bags. Kuwait and Bahrain fighter jets struck Iranian targets, hitting their missile and drone storage depots. This war is only going one way.
They want to be the tough guys, but they do want to make a deal. There's two ways. I mean, it's you can just keep doing exactly what we're doing and take them apart piece by piece, we could do it in a more rapid fashion. We're locked and loaded. We're locked and loaded and ready to go, but we're talking to them.
Our boys have been training with our high mobility artillery rocket systems. Their signature move, the shoot and scoot. The rockets deploy off our Super Hercules aircraft and are a sight to behold. The new air campaign is working. Not a single ship has been attacked in the Strait for 4 straight days. Our strikes on the coast are suffocating the enemy's ability to project power in the Gulf. And today, we smoked another blockade runner. The MT Levine tried getting through the wall of steel 4 times before CENTCOM fired into her engine room. Now, the Brits want to help secure the Strait. Finally, we're holding a high-level meeting in London with our allies to build a coalition to protect innocent tankers. We want our friends to clean up mines and neutralize drones to secure shipping lanes. Oil closed below $100 a barrel today, but still has a way to go. And this just in. The New York Times reporting the gay Ayatollah really wants to get his hands on a nuke, like really, even more than his dad did. The Times cited U.S. intelligence and also said Iran moved ground forces to Pickaxe Mountain to deter an American commando assault. Trump's close to a decision on a massive attack, which includes decapitation strikes, and that could come at any moment.
Maybe they will cry uncle, or maybe they'll just give up, or maybe they'll just go into a cave and hide. You know, they have caves very deep in the ground and they can hide. They get shaken up pretty good, but they can hide. But we've taken out their first level of leadership. We've then taken out their second level of leadership. We've taken out some of the third level. And we're negotiating with the rest. And we'll see how it all works. And right now we are talking to them seriously. But, you know, I've talked to them before, and they don't seem to be able to get there.
Can you stop it for a second? Oh, it's over. Perfect.
Yeah.
I was going to point out that the New York Times is against, they're saying that we can't do anything because the Ayatollah wants a nuke. That's significant because the Times tends to be a leftist newspapers. Like a lot of the stuff that we basically debunked. Remember last time we talked about their articles, and some of their people were basically IRGC people, right? Like you showed us some of them. For them to say this, I believe it marks a little bit, I hope, of a shift.
So are you saying that even Western media is suggesting that it's maybe we should go out and take these people out? Like, they're leaning towards that? Is that what you're saying?
Well, our right was kind of on that track anyway, like leaning towards that assessment that that's what should be done. But when our left and our right agree, that's rare, especially in media.
Interesting. Okay, so you think that people's minds are being prepared to accept that we're gonna have to do this, that especially when they come out and say this Mushtaba guy wants a nuke, that might be preparing American minds that, yeah, we need to take these people out. Like, this new guy definitely wants a nuke. Right?
I'd want to see 2 more, because 1 may be a one-off, 2 coincidence, 3 is a pattern. If I see 3 leftist newspapers suggesting that the new Ayatollah is not giving up the nukes, then that would be a lot of points. That's enough points on the graph to draw a line at pointing at a conclusion.
Okay, Texas agrees as well, so you can believe that too, Armin. Don here. Thank you so much, Don, saying, do you think Trump is trying to get them to let their guard down for leaders to come out of hiding? I mean, that's what he did with that's what he did in Operation Midnight Hammer and Operation Epic Fury. So during Operation Midnight Hammer, the Islamic Republic was in the middle of negotiations with the United States. And they thought that they're going to get an agreement, and then wham, President Trump hit them, Midnight Hammer. And Operation Epic Fury was exactly the same thing. They were in the middle of negotiations, and Ali Khamenei was so convinced that a deal is going to be made. And that's why he left his bunker and he came 1 level higher in his hiding place, came out of his main bunker area, because he was convinced that, okay, we're getting close to a deal. And then wham, they hit him right there, right? So if this happens again, this is like they fell for it the 3rd time. if it happens again, and they might fall for it a third time. But it's embarrassing. What do you think, Monkey?
Well, I wouldn't want the layer to be removed. Let's say you get rid of Aragachi and Gullibuff. Okay, now we have to let them convene a council and elect the new lead. Like, I don't want to go through it. Like, I just want them declared not a government. Like, I understand why would be good to get rid of them, for them to come out of a hole and get blown up. But in military terms. But I'm getting more and more worried. I'm getting more and more exasperated every second of every day. Like, they need to be unrecognized.
If this doesn't happen within the next couple of weeks as you want, what are you gonna say? Like, if it doesn't happen, I mean, it might happen. Like, a lot of signs suggest that we're going towards that, right? But if it doesn't happen the way you want it to happen, then what are you gonna say? Are you gonna what is your reaction?
I say now that it's what should happen, and I will say that it's what should happen until it does happen. Like, I wouldn't change anything.
Okay. And thank you, Don. Thank you for the super chat. But here's another thing, Don. I don't know. Like, coming out of their hiding places, I wonder if there is any place that they could hide anymore. Like, I wonder if there is, because Larijani, this is something that the Islamic Republic has been telling people, and they have been terrified. They are confused of how Larijani was assassinated, because apparently Larijani, when he was in his hiding, he had done more than anybody to figure out a way to hide his track and hide in a way where the Israelis couldn't find him. And the understanding was that if anybody couldn't be found, it was Larijani. If anybody couldn't be found, it was Larijani. And then the Israelis just took out Larijani and they killed him. So, and to this day, the Islamic Republic is very terrified about the fact, because Larijani had access to so many resources. He was one of the most powerful people within the Islamic Republic left, and the Israelis took him out in his hiding place. So this has given the impression to so many people within the Islamic Republic that there is nowhere to hide. Like, they are going to, they know where you are, where no matter what you do. I don't know if the impression is correct or not, but that is the impression that so many people within the Islamic Republic have right now.
Isn't that the guy that came out for something and then they followed him back? Or is that someone else?
Yeah, they followed him. Yeah, that's him. But he thought that he covers his track, because they all come out and then go back, right? At some point, like Vahidi came out for Khamenei's funeral, but Larijani tried to do so much to hide his track to his hiding place, but they figured it out. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
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 Like,
Sorry,
like, the RGC knows how they took it about that. It's not like they don't know. They do know. Like, if you come out to a public place and you get seen, you're gonna get followed home.
Right. Yeah. And Vahidi came out. Everybody came out at some point. So, yeah, there's nowhere to hide. And then we got another super chat here by Nathaniel, saying, based on the understanding of amount of easy damage that Iran can do to the Persian Gulf countries. I mean, okay, so let me read this right. The amount of damage that the Islamic Republic can do to the Persian Gulf countries, it must be Trump's top balancing act. Thank you. I do think that Trump is also taking advantage of how insecure these countries feel right now and how much they desperately need American protection as a way to push them into the Abrahamic Accord. I think this is something that President Trump is taking advantage of. Like, I think it's some. Go on, sorry.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think that I was just going to repeat myself. I shouldn't have repeated myself. So you go ahead.
What I was gonna say is, do you think that not just the Abraham Accords, do you think he's also trying to push them into military actions? We just saw some reports of other countries getting basically in on the action. Do you think that's also part of the push? Not only sign the accord, but that's just paper. Get yourself physically involved in this. Start dropping some bombs. I sell you good shit. Start using it, or I'm gonna stop selling you shit.
Yes, 100%. He's doing it. I think he's pushing them to do that as well. And I think
Okay.
maybe, and you guys might disagree with me on this. One reason that Israel has been held back is because these countries don't want to be on the same side of a war with Israel. Like they don't want, like they're afraid of their own population. And I mean, UAE doesn't care as much, but these other countries care more. They don't want to look like we're attacking the same enemy in a war and we're doing it with Israel. So, and maybe President Trump wants these countries to participate more in defending themselves. And they're like, we can't do it at the same time that Israel is doing it as well.
Because taking action is even, oh, let me put it to you this way. Signing the accord is a big deal, but like actions speak louder than words, right? If you actually start getting in there and bombing, that says a lot.
Mhm. I mean, think about the imagery of that. An Islamic country uniting with a Jewish country against another Islamic country, like Muslims uniting with Jews against, like, they're like, okay, you are betraying the Islamic world. You have actually united with the Zionists to attack our fellow Muslim brothers and sisters. I mean, this is a stupid take, but it is a Muslim take, so it fits.
So
Yeah.
would the framing be you're joining the Jews and the Americans, or you're joining the Jews and the Christians?
It's not that taboo. I mean, it is, but not as that taboo to join the Americans. It's still taboo, but not as taboo to as joining Israel. You know, like you're on the same side of Israel. Like if anything shows that you guys are evil and basically part of global Zionism, like what else do you like? You're bombing your fellow Muslim brothers and sisters with the Jews. So you are the Jews. You yourself are the Jews.
So there's no like I know that joining with the Jews is bad, but like with Jews and Christians against the Islamists, like is it because it's all three together? Is that a bigger problem than if it was just the Americans? Just with the Americans, I know it, like they fight each other all the time, and we're kind of on both sides of the Sunni and Shia thing. We've backed some Shias, we've backed some Sunnis, as far as I know. So we're kind of on both sides of it. But like joining with Jew and Christian against Islam, oh my God, how dare you?
Yeah.
I don't know
Well,
if
yeah,
that's
maybe.
even like more of a thing or if it's just the Jews.
It's most like, I mean, it might be a thing, but it's mostly what they say Zionist. Like, come on, like because yeah, so they pretend that they also pretend that they don't have an issue with Jews, which is a lie. But for them is like, oh, Christians and Jews, they are brothers in faith. They're Ahlul Kitab. They are people of the book. But it's the Zionists that are the problem, right? So that's what they sometimes say. Sometimes.
Okay, okay. I just
Yeah.
didn't know. I was wondering about that, but
Yes.
that makes sense.
Yep. Okay. And okay, let me see. Kave. Guys, I'm not saying like they're not anti-American. They obviously are. Many of the people are, but it's just in their mind. Global Zionism has is like it's such a there's like they just rage. They just when they see like the Israeli flag, they just see in their mind they're just seeing pure evil, like just pure evil. That's what they think. So for
I
you
meant
to
it more
unite,
as a standpoint of dealing with your population if you join. Like,
right?
is it mostly that you're joining with a Jew, not so much? Like, is your population going to get pissed because you joined with a Jew in America, or is it like more about the Jews? Like, the local population would be mostly pissed about the Jew.
Mostly about Israel. Yes, Israel. Kav, for example, this is why the UAE, when Netanyahu visited the UAE, right? he came out and said it, that I visited the UAE, right? And even UAE, which is part of the Abrahamic Accord, which thanked Israel for the Iron Dome, came out and said, no, he didn't showed up. No, he never came out here. It's a lie. It's a lie, right? But they have no problem with President Trump coming there. But Netanyahu, no. He never came out here. He's lying to you, right? So
They
even
could
the
admit it.
UAE
It
is,
would be a problem.
yes, it would be a big problem. So Kaveh with the super chat saying, why not utilize Pahlavi to topple regime? And don't tell me it's because they don't want to appear to be installing him. He's been fully sidelined by USA. How do you respond to this, Kaveh? To Kaveh, Monkey? What do you think?
We are not our doesn't matter what anyone else on earth thinks. All right. Not what Iran thinks, not what Europe thinks, not what China or Russia thinks. Our population would not accept us interfering with that. Our highest value is self-governance. We can't impose governance on you because that's out that to our population, that is an unforgivable sin. He can lead a transitional government, but we're not declaring a transitional government yet. So we have to deal with the IRGC, which is as soon as we're talking about transitional governments, then there can be support. Until then, the most unforgivable sin for us, and the reason we started to go to war in 1776, is because the people have to decide who governs them, not from the outside.
So I would say, Kaveh, that I don't want to pretend to know what they're thinking about Pahlavi in the White House. But I would say that it doesn't really matter, because we know that when the Islamic Republic falls and the Iranian people get control, the answer will be Pahlavi. So as long as the Americans are moving in the direction that the Islamic Republic is getting weaker and weaker, does it matter? Right? Like, we could be, I think they're the greatest, them and Israel, United States and Israel is the greatest external force in weakening the Islamic Republic. So it's moving in the right direction. I mean, it's not like they are doing anything against Pahlavi. That's the only thing that matters. They're weakening the Islamic Republic, and they're not holding back Pahlavi. And once the Iranian people are free, Pahlavi will be the leader of the transitional government once the Iranian people get to make that decision. So does it matter? That's the way I see it.
I would add to that there is support around him, kind of behind the scenes, kind of from other people, not directly from the government. When I said the people, I'm talking about like the American general, public. Like both sides would be very afraid to impose themselves on the majority of Iranians. I believe as soon as the majority of Iranians get to freely express themselves, that's who they're going to choose. And I believe if we're talking about the administration, there are people that know, and there may be things going behind the scenes that we don't know about, especially when it comes to defections.
Yeah, that makes okay. And thank you, Kaveh. Great question. And Fleshy Interloper with the super chat saying, I can fix Saudi Arabia. Call me. $1 billion flat rate. USD value paid in Swiss francs. It's francs. Sorry. What would you do? I want to know your plan. You can fix Saudi Arabia. How?
Oh, you got to
know
pay.
what?
You don't get to know until
Oh.
you pay. That's the whole deal.
Well, here's how you fix Saudi Arabia. You liberalize the economy, and you give people, start with that. Like, you might be too soon. Actually, yeah, you liberalize the economy, start making and make everything merit based. Make it merit based, make the governance merit based, liberalize the economy, stop making the Saudis decide what to invest in. just let the private market decide that, because they're wasting a lot of money. That's the first step. Remove the command economy, stop making a few rich people who have never made money themselves and they're only rich because oil just keeps gushing out of the ground, and waste their country's resources on stupid flashy projects that don't go anywhere. Just let investors, just privatize a lot of your government owned industries and let the investors decide where the oil money is going. Oh, and also your sovereign wealth fund should be more of a copy of Norway. Like, I think, yeah. Anyways, that's getting into too much detail. Just privatize everything and stop allowing just a few people decide where the direction of investments needs to go. That's what I think should be done. I gave that for free, by the way. See, I charge better rates than Fleshy, but yeah. Okay, and then we got Kevin that just became a member. Oh no, just gifted a membership to somebody in the chat. Thank you so much, Kevin. Always getting
Thanks.
membership to people in the chat. Thank you. All right, let's see what President Trump said here.
Military, when you're winning a war, and what are you supposed to do? Stop fighting? We're winning a war by a lot. We're talking to them right now. They're willing to do things that they would have never done. Other presidents should have done this a long time ago. They say 47, but now it's actually 50 years. We've been saying 47 for 3 years. Military.
What do you think about when he says they're willing to come and talk to us? Do you think that's a sign that he still wants to talk to them, or is a sign that he just wants to show that they're desperate and we're going to keep hitting them, or something else?
I don't know, but what does he mean 50 years?
It's not.
What's the
it's
significance of that?
48.
No.
It's
What if
not
that's
fi-
not a mistake?
yeah.
What happened 50 years ago?
Okay. Maybe he's talking about the beginning of the movement of Khomeinism before even the
Okay.
evolution. Yeah.
Who was in power then?
Well, I mean,
The Shah, right?
The Shah was in power. Muhammad was a Shah. Yeah.
So he's seeing that as like them going against the Shah as a war that started against us 50 years ago? Because that's what he just said.
Well,
If the war
movement,
against us started with the war against the Shah, he's putting him with us. I would put significant, I don't think it's an accident that he said. I don't think he just got the wrong number. He very specifically said 50 years after saying, like, we've been saying that for 3 years, but it's actually 50 years. Like, don't you see any significance in that? I thought it would be more significant for you than me. I would place significance on that.
yeah, I mean, anything is possible, but I just don't want to.
Let's hear it again. Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I heard it wrong.
No, he did say, you're right. He did say 50 years, but
Military, when you're winning a war, and what are you supposed to do? Stop fighting? We're winning a war by a lot. We're talking to them right now. They're willing to do things that they would have never done. Other presidents should have done this a long time ago. They say 47, but now it's actually 50 years. We've been saying 47 for 3 years. Military, when you're.
yeah, so that was the full version. Trump has said before that Iran was great before the Islamic Revolution. So he has said that before, if you're looking for that. That's something that he has openly said multiple times with regards to Iran being a good country before. But yeah. He might be. Okay, let me see. Is Monkey, are you there?
Yes, I am. What was the question?
Oh, okay.
I didn't even.
Oh, no, nothing. Okay. Let me see his next statement over here.
Enrichment of civil nuclear.
Quick question about Iran. You're talking about blowing up civilian power plants and bridges. Much of the civilized world would consider that a war crime. Do you?
I won't respond to that question. Who are you with?
The New York Times.
I figured so. Failing New York Times. Enrichment.
It's not a war crime if it's dual use. Isn't that like established fact?
They know it. They know that when they ask the question. That's why he didn't even want to dignify it with an answer.
Hmm. Is that how you would respond? Like, I wouldn't even answer that question.
It's like you know better than that. Oh, you think they only use their power plants for civilian use? What are you, fucking stupid? That's what I would say.
You could one other response that you could have is go ask the Iranian people if this will free their country, would they want me to do it or not? Like, go ask them. Maybe
I couldn't do that as commander in chief. I have to put that decision within my discretion for my reasons.
Yeah. Look at the smirk on his face when President Trump said who you're with. Watch this again.
Enrichment of civil nuclear.
Quick question about Iran. You're talking about blowing up civilian power plants and bridges. Much of the civilized world would consider that a war crime. Do you?
I won't respond to that question. Who you with?
The New York Times.
I figured so. Failing New York Times. Enrichment.
You see that smirk? New York
You know
Times.
how rich these people are? Because they pretend to represent the people. Just gonna tell you one of their people, Taylor Lorenz, right? She kind of went on her own after she doxed Libs of TikTok. Her school, high school, cost $90,000 a year. I went over this with Jeff. Like, these people that come in here and pretend, oh, I'm just a journalist. I'm not an elitist. I'm here for the people. They live in ivory towers. And they get to where they are through nepotism. I don't know that one in particular, but I know that's how most of them get their jobs.
I mean, oh yeah. I mean, yeah, if it's nepotism, I could have a problem with that. But I mean, if they're rich, I don't have a problem with that as long as they got it.
Oh,
with
yeah,
her.
that's fine. It's that they're liars that misrepresent where they come from and use that nepotist assigned position to influence the population toward self-destructive means.
That makes sense. Yep. I just didn't like his smirk. Yeah. Anyways, I mean, because he must know better. Like, it's obviously like he must know better. He must know that this is not a war crime if there are dual use. Like, what are you talking about? How is that a war crime? Like, just look it up. Like, anybody could look it up. And he's like, is it a war crime if it's dual use? Then you're like, no, it's not. Guys, even a hospital becomes a legitimate target if you use it for military operations. Like, for example, if you use a hospital, like even an ambulance becomes like if you load up some fighters, some terrorists inside an ambulance, the ambulance becomes a legitimate target. If you put some rockets in the basement of a hospital, the hospital becomes legitimate target. Everything becomes legitimate target if it's being used by the military to wage war against you.
That's what makes it. You know what the crime? Well, you know what the war crime is? Putting rockets in a hospital. You know what the crime is? Using an ambulance for war. That's the war crime.
Exactly. Oh, we got another super chat from Jagatai. Jagatai is saying, this is why Islam is a cult. Followers would even support Nazis if they was Muslims, despite the atrocities. Nothing is above religion, even family. Oh yeah, for sure. For sure, not even family. They can sacrifice anything. They brag about sacrificing their own family for Islam. And they think that's that's not even something they hide. Like, they come, like some of these people, like after Ali Khamenei was killed, so many of these pro-regime people came out on TV and bragged about the fact that their daughter died and their son died, and they didn't care that much. But when Ali Khamenei, they found out the news that Ali Khamenei died. We showed that video to you. When they found out that Ali Khamenei died, they broke down in tears. They said, we showed you a video where this was the story. They said, like, because their daughter was inside the compound that Ali Khamenei was in. And they said that they came out and broke the news that she died. And he said the women among us started crying, but the men among us, we were kind of unfazed. Like, as if like he's bragging. You're talking about the father and the brother of the woman who died. And we're like, yeah, but it didn't affect us. But then only when they announced that our Lord died, that's when the men also broke down. And he was saying that on TV as if this is something to be proud of, that our daughter dying didn't really affect us. Isn't that crazy?
That's disgusting.
Yeah.
That's disgusting also to anyone that has a daughter over a son.
Yeah. Thank you, Jagatai. Thank you for the super chat. Here, watch this.
If I wasn't here, if I wasn't president, there would be no Israel, and there probably would be no Middle East. And you saw that when they shockingly started shooting at everybody all over the Middle East. If they had a nuclear weapon, they would have used that. There might not be a Middle East as we know it today, but there definitely, in my opinion, there would not have been an Israel. Thank you very much, everybody.
Wait, what do you think about that comment? And I'll be right back. I need to use the washroom. Do you have enough to say about this for me to go back, to go for just a minute? Do you know?
I don't know what I would say about this.
Okay, here. So I'll play. Then I will give you something that you have enough to say about. Do you mind if I play 2 minutes of this while I go? Right.
Let it run.
I know it's let it run. Okay, I'll be right back.
That the Trump administration entered a war against Iran, which, if you know anything about the Middle East, is a really big deal. Iran is a huge country with a huge population and a massive military and a huge arsenal of drones and missiles, and they are a nuclear threshold state. This is a bigger war than Iraq. It's a bigger war than Syria. It's a bigger war than Libya. Arguably, it's bigger than all of those put together. And we started this war not anticipating that Iran would close the Strait of Hormuz, and with no plan, no backup plan, no plan B of what to do if they did close the strait. This is literally how it has happened. The Trump administration went in, locked and loaded against the Iranian regime, and plan A was, we're going to hit him so hard the regime is going to collapse. Now, for anybody that has ever watched this space at all, the obvious question is, well, what if it doesn't work? What if plan A fails? What if we punch Iran as hard as we can and the regime doesn't fall? The regime persists and they close the Strait of Hormuz. Then what? And would you believe it if I told you the administration did not think that far ahead? There was no plan B. They didn't think about this. They didn't say, what happens if the regime survives and they close the strait? Then what do? They didn't get that far, because that's exactly how it has played out. They did assassinate the supreme leader. They killed half the military and civilian leadership. They sank Iran's blue water navy. They bombed 13,000 targets in Iran. They did everything that we really can with air and sea power. And the Iranian regime is entrenched, they're undeterred, and they still possess the ability to close the strait. And basically the challenge that we've been in ever since is answering the question, okay, now what?
All right, what do you think?
Well, he just basically lied throughout the whole thing. There was just lie after lie after lie after lie, because he overstates the power of the Iranian regime. He understates the power that Saddam had, and then he just lies about our preparation. He lies about the consequences. He lies like okay, so we weren't ready for what was happening, but we took over Venezuela. We offshored like 40% of our trade that comes from China. We started making deals to onshore and friendshore our energy investments. We did so many things before this happened, and there was obviously a plan. But he thinks that keeping the oil low while making it harder to get for China and keeping the pressure on Russia through Ukraine wasn't part of the plan. He thinks the time that it takes is not part of the plan, that we plan to go in and come out fast. Like the MOU time that we used to make a deal with Lebanon to get rid of Hezbollah, to take Iraq's corruption out and make a deal with Iraq. To well, Houthis didn't do anything, so we didn't do anything about them. But to go through economic fury and get the all the people that were supporting to stop supporting them and freeze their assets and put them into our escrow account. The MOU creating the legal framework so we can take that funding and giving it to a transitional government by getting them to sign on the dotted line. Like all these things that happen are planning. Even the MOU, knowing that they're not making a deal that you know they're not going to keep, so that you can keep their money and what you were going to give them. This is all planning. We obviously planned all this. To say that it's not planned is stupid. My problem is what the perception is now where the plan is going. Like this is not a coincidence. This isn't, I don't know, this isn't luck. You can't call it luck. What we did to the financial markets, what we did to China, what we did to Russia, what we have done with Japan, what we have done with Taiwan, which may not be to the like Japan would probably like even more support. Taiwan would like even more support, but we have made them stronger in ways that can't be easy to calculate because of how weak we've made China by crunching down on its reserves and on our decoupling. There's so many moves being made all over the Indo-Pacific while this is going, because getting a lot of these people on the table together, even though they all have problems with China, showing them also that they have a problem with oil throughout the Indo-Pacific because it all comes from the Persian Gulf. That gets them all on the table. That gets them signing treaties. So to say that this is, oh, we weren't prepared, we have done so much to make the world more unipolar and less globalist, and in a sense militarily, and we're getting it away from autocrats. We've done so much in that I mean, it's undeniable. This isn't a coincidence. This isn't luck. He's just lying.
Yes. So, I agree. He's obviously lying. Also, he claims that, the regime is now more resilient and stronger. I mean, I don't understand. I do understand he's lying, obviously, but it's just a figure of speech saying I don't understand. But when the regime itself is admitting, the regime supporters, like I watch the state TV, I watch the narrative that comes out of the Islamic Republic. They're to the point where they are now accepting that they can't do anything, that they have been devastated, that they lost a lot of their capabilities when it comes to threatening their enemies in the region. They themselves are now admitting, many of them, that the reason why they're not attacking Israel is because they can't, because they're afraid of Israel's response. So many of their own supporters are. They themselves are admitting that Operation Epic Fury destroyed so much of their missile launching capability, destroyed their navy, destroyed the air force that they never had, that their defense against any air operation against the Islamic Republic is non-existent. So, and that the damages that has been inflicted on them by the joint U.S. and Israeli military operations is irreversible. Also, he said, like, oh, they're going to close the Strait of Hormuz. They can't close the Strait of Hormuz. First of all, they never managed to close the Strait of Hormuz. You could say that they made it, like, during the entire time, like, ships were going through. Like, when ships were going through, like, he doesn't talk about how the U.S. Navy was actually very successful in getting a lot of oil through the Strait of Hormuz. But what has actually been more successful than the blockade on the Strait of Hormuz is the U.S. blockade on the Iranian ports. And he doesn't bring up the fact that this goes both ways, and in fact, the American one against the Islamic Republic is a lot more effective. And if they want to close the Strait of Hormuz and just accept that the Americans are going to also have their own blockade on the ports, Iranian ports, well, that will cripple them. They know that will cripple them. I mean, sure, can you like imagine? Can you punch me? Yeah, you can punch me, but then I'm gonna punch you back even harder, and every time, and my punches are harder than yours. Sure, you could do something, you could irritate me, you could cause me some trouble, but you do have to accept that I will hurt you back every time. And this is not sustainable. If the Islamic Republic wants to disrupt all traffic through the Strait of Hormuz, well, the blockade stays on. And the Islamic Republic, the global economy might suffer, but it's not going to collapse. You, on the other hand, if the blockade continues, will collapse. You cannot continue this. The global economy, sure, it's not going to have fun with the Strait of Hormuz being disrupted like this, but it will, like, we have been here before. The world survived. The world has survived going through crises like this. But you cannot survive this. You cannot survive the American reaction to this.
I have a question.
Hmm.
Now, I know American politics, but you know Nick better than me. I think he's very angry that he has lost a lot of his power to low IQ anti-Semites. And even though high IQ anti-Semites is not very high, he has realized, wait a minute, I could just lie to these people. So he's not going as hard into like some nuanced take where I have to find the lie within all he said. He's just flat out lying from the start and lying all the way through. Like, are you seeing like a shift here? Did he have better argumentation before, and now he's just like being like basically Candace, like he's being like Ian Carroll. He's just straight up lying.
Well, I mean, no, because of what you said earlier. Because the high IQ anti-Semitism is only gets this high. So this is the higher nuanced take that he has, right? Like, it's just comparable to the Candace Owens takes. This is what passes as high IQ.
I think he had better arguments before. I think like he would put one lie in 5 truths. This is just all lies.
Well, I mean, this is clipped, so he probably in the full segment has more truths in it, right?
You're being more gracious than I would be to him. All right, maybe, yeah. You know him better. You know him better.
No, I'm just saying that it's like, even when he was so-called high IQ anti-Semitism, like me and you watching it would be like, oh my God, this is stupid. Even when he does his so-called high level, high IQ ones. There are, I mean, you see like, okay, well, that makes sense. And then all of a sudden, like for even like a couple of years ago, then all of a sudden in the middle of it, like, holy crap, what the hell was that? You know what I mean? Like, they was still there. Like, for example, like even when I listened to him multiple years ago, he's talking about, I don't know, demons taking over politicians in the US and stuff like that. So kind of close to Candace Owens kind of stuff. Like, he believes that, like sorcery and shit like that.
Lately, it's like he has, like, I don't trust him and I never will, right? But he's kind of switching the griff to saying, you know what? All of these people are idiots. I don't want to stand with him. I'm just gonna go with the most racist Jewish person I can find, and not that the person he was talking about was racist, right? That's not what I'm trying to say. But I'm gonna try to see if I can be like the crazy ultra orthodox that even the Jews disavow. I'm gonna go with them and and try to work from that side. You understand what I'm saying? To be like alt right or like ultra right. Like he's been like so like what do you call? I think that the best way to call it, just call it like what it is, anti-goy. It's been a hilarious shift. I don't trust him though.
Okay, yeah, I don't trust him either. But do you start a comment? Do you want to respond to this?
Yes, started to implement the plan in his first term. Yes, a lot of the military revamp that happened that let us be able to do what we're doing right now started in his first term. This is true, and thank you, Insomniac.
Thank you. And then we also get some sleep. And then also Ellie, thank you so much for the membership gift. One membership to somebody in our chat, and somebody now is a member. Welcome to our group. Ellie made you a member. Thank you so much. Thank you. All right,
Thank you.
want another Nick Fuentes video? You want to do another one? Iran
Here we
related?
go.
Here we go.
To resolve this problem, we're not walking away. People like Joe Kent and others, they say we need to just leave. You can't.
Oh, Monkey, I don't know if it's just
I'm
me.
sorry, I thought I
Your
muted
mi-
myself.
No. Yeah, no worries, no worries.
To resolve this problem, we're not walking away. People like Joe Kent and others, they say we need to just leave. You can't. That's not a possibility. It's not going to happen. Get that out of your head. People say we should just wrap it up and go away. We can't. If we leave, they control the strait forever. If they control the strait forever, major strategic defeat. They've reestablished deterrence. We can never go in again. It's just not acceptable. We also are not going to do a full-scale ground invasion. That the Kurds can't do it. They'd have to cross over the mountains. There's not enough of them. It didn't work when they were planning it in January. We can't launch a full-scale invasion from the Persian Gulf. There's only 50,000 soldiers there. We don't have the ground force for that. There's no political will for that. So the middle path is we're going to need to open the strait by force. And the way we're going to do it is with some kind of coalition. It's going to be the Emirates. It's going to be Saudi Arabia. It might be the United Kingdom. It might be some of the NATO allies, maybe even the East Asian countries. And I would guess that we would go in for the islands. And it's risky. It'd be extremely bold, but I feel like that's the only way out of it. So if I were to bet, I think that may be more likely than not. I don't see any other way. I don't think a deal is imminent. I don't think Iran is going to agree to open up the strait on our terms, and I don't think we're prepared to open it on their terms either. So if there's an escalation, I think that's what it looks like.
You know, regarding, we'll talk about where he got this wrong, but he is right about the fact that the Islamic Republic is not going to give up the Strait of Hormuz, and neither is the United States. And that's one reason why I think that this is going to go on until we have regime change. Do you agree with that?
I want to know what you think you got wrong.
Well, let me actually go through it again.
To resolve this
We'll do one by one.
problem, we're not walking away.
So he's right about that.
People like Joe Kent and others, they say we need to just leave. You can't. That's not a possibility. It's not going to happen. Get that out of your head. People say we should.
He's right about that. Even if you do leave, you have to come back to this. This is like you have to. This we're going to have conflict with the Islamic Republic until the whole thing collapses.
Just wrap it up and go away. We can't.
That's true.
If we leave, they control the strait forever. If they control the strait forever,
hey, this might be all correct. This might be one of those segments where you talked about that he's telling like 5 truths and 1 lie. This might be.
This is where he like. This is why I say he's a high IQ anti-Semite, because he's gonna say some shit that's true and then trick you and tell you it's all the Jews, like that kind of retarded shit.
Right. Yes. So you were right. So this is like so far correct.
Strategic defeat. They've reestablished deterrence. We can never go in again. It's just not acceptable. We also are not going to do a full-scale ground invasion. That the Kurds can't do.
That's correct. By the way, guys, just because we're saying it's correct, it doesn't mean that we support him. Okay, this is just his tactic. He tells you 5 truths.
This
so that
is why he's
you
dangerous. People say he's an idiot.
Yes.
No. He will spin in some news that's accurate. You feel like a little bit more intelligent as a dumb anti-Semite, because you get into a discussion with someone else and you say what he said right now, and other people go, oh, he knows the shit, right? So he's selling this, right? But you got to understand, this guy is slimy. Somewhere along the line, and it may be like 5 seconds after the clip is over, he's gonna put it, it's all because of the Jews, like some other shit like that.
Oh yeah, yeah, exactly. So yeah, that's actually the narrative. It was Israel dragged us into this, and now that we're in it, we can't leave it. That's the narrative.
But they'd have to cross over the mountains. There's not enough of them. It didn't work when they were planning it in January. We can't launch a full-scale invasion from the Persian Gulf. There's only 50,000 soldiers there. We don't have the ground force.
That's also true. Like if there was, like even people said, like, oh, we could. Well, it doesn't. You're not gonna because the how many Marines do we have right now? 50,000, and also some other servicemen in total. Like you would. Then enough troops that would be able to do such a thing hasn't been mobilized over there. So at least now we know that you're not gonna.
If we're talking infantry,
Yeah.
it's like 9 to 20 because we hit a button and like 10,000 show up.
Okay, which is not the number that you need to do a full scale ground invasion. Like that number
It
is in
is
the
enough to
hundreds of
work with
thousands.
local forces.
Right. Yes, but not a complete U.S. ground operation. That is like in 300,000 or more. That's what you would.
He is correct there. That's the only place where I can catch him. It's like, okay, but if we work with the Iranian people from the south to the north, then we can achieve this goal. That's the only thing I can catch him on in this clip. The rest is like before that and after that, it's really hard for me. But if that's the most important part.
Right. Okay.
There's no political will for that. So the middle path is we're going to need to open the strait by force. And the way we're going to do it is with some kind of coalition. It's going to be the Emirates. It's going to be Saudi Arabia. It might be the United Kingdom. It might be some of the NATO allies, maybe even the East Asian countries. And I would guess that we would go in for the islands. And it's risky. It'd be extremely bold, but I feel like that's the only way out of it. So if I were to bet, I think that may be more likely than not. I don't see any other.
Wait, what this is the part that he might have gone wrong here.
And it's risky. It'd be extremely kingdom. It might be some of the NATO allies, maybe even the East Asian countries. And I would guess that we would go in for the islands.
Okay, yep.
And it's risky. It'd be extremely bold, but I feel like that's the only way out of it. So
no, so this is the part that he gets wrong. The only way out of it is the Iranian people. Okay, so even if you do take the islands, that's not going to finish the job. What are you going to do? Take the islands and then stay indefinitely? Take the islands and then leave after some period of time? So no, that's not the way out of it. The way out of it is to empower the Iranian people to fight and liberate their own country. That's the way out of it. So that's the part he got wrong.
He slipped the poison in the middle. Like right in the middle, he says we have 50,000 troops there. We're not doing a full invasion. No, but we can make a partial humanitarian mission with locals for them to secure stability during transition.
Right. Okay.
if I were to bet, I think that may be more likely than not. I don't see any other way. I don't think a deal is imminent.
Yeah, that part is correct. So you see, a lot of truths, a lie, now back to truths.
I don't think Iran is going to agree to open up the strait on our terms, and I don't think we're prepared to open it on their terms either.
True.
So if there's an escalation, I think that's what it looks like.
See? So, yep, Monkey was right. Slipped in.
Right in the middle, very subtle.
Very subtle right in the middle. Right. Yeah, good analysis, Monkey. All right. And then look at this. Let's go back to Trump. We're done, but we had to do it. We had to take out some garbage, guys. Let's go back to. I know it's hard to watch this guy, but let's go back to Trump.
But it's good to understand.
Yes, 100%. See, a Monkey appreciates me bringing up this stuff. So a lot of people hate me for bringing it up, but Monkey appreciates it. Thank you, Monkey.
You told Axios that you were considering a, quote, massive attack on Iran. What is the tipping point for you to make the decision?
Well, I can't tell you that. Right now, we're talking to them, so, maybe there won't be a tipping point, and maybe there will. We're ready to go. Look, we're locked and loaded. We're ready to go, but We're talking to them. So maybe there will be, maybe there won't be a tipping point.
But at what point with Iran do you think they're going to cry uncle and actually come to the table?
Well, maybe they will cry uncle, or maybe they'll just give up, or maybe they'll just go into a cave and hide. They have caves very deep in the ground and they can hide. They get shaken up pretty good, but they can hide. But we've taken out their first level of leadership. We've then taken out their second level of leadership. We've taken out some of the third level, and we're negotiating with the rest. And we'll see how it all works. And right now we are talking to them seriously, but I've talked to them before, and they don't seem to be able to get there. Maybe now they will.
What do you think about this? Do you not does the first part, does that go with what you're thinking should happen? Like when he says like we're talking to them, we'll see if they talk. Would that not legitimize the Islamic Republic? Like, isn't it time to completely remove their legitimacy as an entity that could even be talked to? Or do you agree with this? What President Trump
I
said?
think probably tomorrow, at some point, probably at night, they're gonna announce maybe a 1 week deal. We're gonna see how it goes. It's what do you call it? Based on performance. And at some point, probably Wednesday, Thursday, they're gonna break the deal. They're gonna attack something. And then we will say, look, that was absolutely the last time. We're declaring this government non-functional. You can't make a deal with them because they go back on every deal they make. And we're just declaring a different government because we can't deal with these people. We're not going to be in this war forever. The people hate them. There's no infrastructure here, that kind of thing. That's my best case scenario. I don't like it. I don't want to deal for a week. I don't want to give them a chance to surrender.
Yeah.
I don't want to give them a chance to anything that it gives them, like surrender. The IRGC renounces control of the government. Yeah, I'll take that surrender deal. But anything that is, oh, we'll calm down but stay in power, I reject.
Yeah. What do you think about a guy? Look at this. A guy just give us a super chat. Thank you, Guy. You know what? I should give him. I should put the link to Guy's channel in the chat. Let's see. Here's Guy's channel. Guys, make sure you go follow Guy's channel. He's really good. He is an Israeli and he analyzes all of this thing from an Israeli perspective. He's the best person on this topic, on Israeli politics, Middle Eastern politics, from an Israeli perspective on this. Honestly, his channel needs to have 1 million subscribers because I don't know anyone else better than Guy covering this from that side. So yeah, I put this channel in the chat. And then okay, so here is saying
Also, he's very handsome. People should know that. Like, you can't see him right now because it's small. But if you subscribe to that link, that's a very handsome man.
Yes. Yeah, he is. Guy, thank you so much for the super chat. Saying turns out Israeli officials also assumed the strikes would start last night. Apparently, the assessment is Trump delayed for negotiations chance. So Israelis believe that it was about to happen last night, but something happened from the Islamic Republic in Iran side that made Trump reconsider and give it another chance. What do you think about that?
I think that's what I said a couple of minutes ago. Like maybe I was right about that. Like,
Yeah, but do you have any is that if this is true, this frustrates me. Does it frustrate you? I mean, I know it does. I just want
it pisses me off, but what can I do? Like, I'm just gonna stay on message. It is a bad idea to have a deal, allow them to accept any form of deal that leaves any part of the IRGC in power. I just don't. I am afraid of what would happen after. There's a lot of assumptions about what would happen but very few look at the worst possible case scenario, and that's the one I'm looking at.
Yeah.
I also start some very important comments here.
Oh yeah, you always do.
No.
These are very important. Very,
It's not just a monkey
he's very
saying it. The
beautiful.
humans agree.
He's handsome. He's Israeli. They are usually good looking. LOL, Israeli swagger. Israel has the sexiest. Yeah. Wow.
I'm speaking facts. This isn't just like monkeys think that humans are beautiful. No, no, no. This goes across a species.
Right. And then we got another super chat from Amir the Cricket saying, Kuhe Kolang, which is a Pickaxe Mountain, is the goal that USA let us see. I don't get it. Why not solve the uranium after the regime change if regime change is on the table? I mean, I would like to. I think I agree with your priority. The solution to everything we have, every single problem here is regime change. The solution to every single problem is regime change. The solution to the Strait of Hormuz, regime change. The solution to Kukolang, the Pickaxe Mountain, enrichment of uranium, regime change. The solution to Hezbollah, regime change in Iran. The solution to Hamas, regime change in Iran. The solution to the proxies in Iraq, regime change in Iran. So the policy should be regime change. You will, like, instead of fixing each one of these separately, you do one solution and all of this gets solved. And the solution to regime change is arming the Iranian people. I know I'm simplifying it, but I agree. I agree with you, Amir. That should be the priority. I mean, maybe that is the priority. Maybe they're not communicating with us because if they did, I mean, then the regime will go full force. Maybe makes sense for us for that not to be communicated with us. But I don't know. I'm not going to pretend to know what the actual priority here is. But I will tell you that it makes sense to me that if the priority is not regime change, they're making a mistake. So, but maybe behind the scenes that is the priority. But if it's not, it should be.
My take on that is I agree. We could need regime change. What I believe is going to happen is there's going to be a deal for a week. They'll break it. Then we can declare them not a government. My fear is that they will take it and stand by it and let inspectors in and let the dust be taken and do horrible, horrible things. Have 100 Wuhans inside Iran.
Okay. It's good when we agree. We know we're onto something when we agree. Me and Monkey.
Look, we're locked and loaded. We're ready to go, but we're talking to them. So maybe there will be, maybe there won't be a tipping point.
But at what point with Iran do you think they're
Okay, we did this one. Let's go to this one.
About Iran, what is the exit strategy?
Oh, we also did that one already. This one.
The major strikes that you
No,
were referring to? Okay. Should we expect to see major strikes?
Look, we're talking to them right now.
So they're asking, are we expecting to see major strikes? And he keeps saying we're talking to them right now.
Talking to them right now. I think they're getting more and more serious as the days go by, for maybe the obvious reason. But we are talking to them right now. We'll see. Look, there are two ways. I consider that the smarter way, but the other is probably the easier way, doing what we're doing. And we can take that to a much higher level if we want to. You know, we're prepared to do that, as you know.
My God. Yeah, the easier way has been tried. I think it's time for the harder way. I think we're done
No
with
deal.
the easy way. No deal. So, Monkey, if I understood it correctly, your prediction was that we're going to go through a ceasefire negotiation period one more time, but this is the last time. Maybe I misunderstood you, but is that like
Yes.
you're saying we're going to do it one more time and this is going to be the last time? That's your prediction?
I don't want this to happen. I want them to declare transitional government now. But if I was gonna put on like my steel man hat and say we got to get this done before the midterms, we got to have like a destruction militarily plus a change in the government. We haven't had a change in the government. We have a change in the leadership, but not in the government. So if I have to do it with a deal, the only way I would just declare another government. But if I have to try again, I would give it 1 week. I would do it on Sunday night because that opens the stock market on Monday positively. And it would also probably, oil is more affected by what's flowing than by futures, but it might help. And I would just let the market rally and then wait. I would predict that Wednesday or Thursday they're going to strike either on a name or on a ship. Like we've already had ships trying to pass through the strait. Like they're not firing on it, but they're trying to ram through the blockade. So I predict that around they're not going to be able to hold themselves back a whole week. Around Wednesday, Thursday, they're going to fire on a ship. We're going to say you didn't last 7 days from Monday to Sunday. So we're going to declare this a government that isn't capable of standing by a deal because they signed with us digitally that they were going to do this and they didn't stand by this. So we declare this not a government.
Okay.
Or
Yeah.
we could say part of the deal was that we had to see if the Ayatollah was alive. We can't find it. They're not showing us where he is. We don't even think he's alive. We think this has been a coup government. They took over, and the military is actually the people that took over. And this is not a real government by their constitution or by any world standard. They don't stand like there's a series of things that you could say verbally, and the weight of America saying it is so heavy, and it would back reports from Iran that say he's not around or that he may be dead, that there may be a coup. You could just pull their all the stuff they said. Look at what they say here. Look at what they say here. Look at what they say. It seems our intelligence agrees. It looks like he's actually died at some point. We don't know when.
Texas think we've never stopped talking to them. That is 100% correct. Even when the Islamic Republic says that we have stopped the negotiations, they're always talking. They're always talking. In fact, Ghalibaf has a direct line with President Trump. Araghchi is on WhatsApp with JD Vance apparently, and CENTCOM is in direct communication with IRGC through Doha, direct, like in Doha, but direct communication, and that has never stopped. That is true. Let me see. And some people don't like that. Some people say that gives recognition of the Islamic Republic. This is the most direct talks that the White House has had with the Islamic Republic.
I don't like it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, right. Yeah, we'll see. So here, let me look at did we play this part? I think we did.
And when you say that you're talking, is it Mr. Kushner or Mr. Witkoff, or who's involved in those talks?
Sort of everybody, JD and Marco, and a lot of people are talking to, a lot of people to talk to. It's a big deal. But really, when you get right down to it, it's not very complex. They cannot have a nuclear weapon. Very, very simple actually, but it's a big deal. They cannot have a nuclear weapon. If they have even a thought of a nuclear weapon, we will just continue to go at much higher levels. But we are talking right now, and we'll see what comes of it. I'm not, despite what everyone says about the election, I'm not in a hurry. I'm not in a hurry. We have to do it right. Elections take care of themselves.
Okay, so when he says he's not in a hurry, elections take care of themselves. Does this mean that he's not? Is this a sign that he's not going to do something big soon, or are we shouldn't take it serious? Like we should take it seriously, but not literally. Might be just a mind game and about something like he's going to surprise them pretty soon. Like, what do you think? Does this a signal at all that this might take much longer and nothing significant is about to happen, or no? That's too much.
I'm gonna say, do you think he'd be stupid? Is stupid enough to say, "Oh, I am pressured by midterms"? I don't think he'd say that because that would be stupid.
No.
Like, the smart thing to say is, "Oh, the midterms don't bother me." I don't know if they bother him or not, but he would never say it. What bothers me is the word nuclear. I don't care if they don't want nuclear. I don't care if they renounce nuclear, if they could make 100 Wuhans. The thought of 100 Wuhans, which are harder to detect, harder to inspect, harder to find, bothers me a lot more than their nuke. We can detect their nuke. We can know when it's coming. We've been knowing every time they get closer to a nuke. Every single time we found out. Controlling and knowing where 100 Wuhans and tunnels are, how close they are, because you don't need a tunnel. You could do it almost anywhere. So my problem is 100 Wuhans, 1,000 Wuhans in Iran. That's my problem. I don't give a shit about nuclear anymore.
When he so do you think he is pressured by midterms?
Yes,
Okay.
but that pressure doesn't help Iran
Okay. How does it not help Iran? Explain it.
because it's better to do it before than after. It would hurt more to not have a change than it would to leave things the same. It would hurt the Republican Party if nothing changes. If we're still talking about deals and ceasefires, that would hurt. And they don't want to hurt.
Okay.
It's too much at stake.
Okay. So, and given that you don't like it when President Trump says nuclear all the time, and why do you think he is saying nuclear all the time?
Because he wants the people to accept that as long as they give up nuclear, it's okay to have a deal. I don't think the public's going to accept that. He's selling it.
Let me try to steelman President Trump. What if he knows that the Islamic Republic is not going to give up its nuclear, and this is the best way to convince the Americans why we need to stay at it? Because you might not care about nuclear, but internally within U.S. Within U.S. domestic opinion, that's what has been shown to be the most important thing that they care about, and you have the intelligence that they're not going to give it up anyways. And as long as we keep on saying that this is about the nukes, then we could basically have enough acceptance that we need to keep at it.
I would have to, okay, so you're steel manning what he might be doing. I would push that he should be saying, the problem here is the IRGC, they're not capable of making a deal. And what do you want, 1,000 Wuhans? Because they would be a lot harder to detect than detecting a nuclear weapons. That's what I would say. Hey, I know you're trying to do this 5D chess, but you know what? Once in a while, let's play some fucking checkers.
Okay. All right. But guys, what do you guys think in the chat? Like, I think that whatever you guys, I mean, I want regime change, but I see why President Trump is making this about nuclear, because, and we know that the Islamic Republic is not going to give up its nuclear. I mean, if they do, it would be, I mean, anything is possible, to be honest. But if they do that, it would be a complete collapse of their legitimacy internally. And that's why you could at least bet that they're not going to do that. And that will give you enough reason to just keep at it. Right?
I would not make that bet. I think that's a losing bet. Bet that they care about legitimacy. I would never make that bet. They might just kill the penguins, the sad penguins. They might kill everybody just to stay in control.
Okay, I mean, so Monkey, they absolutely care about. That's the number one thing they care about. The Islamic Republic, when it comes to among their own supporters, they care about this more than they care about anything else. Their legitimacy.
We're talking about the people with the guns, not the supporters.
Right. So guys, in the past couple of years, everything that the Islamic Republic has done is completely in line with them maintaining the last remaining base of support that they have, right? So that small percentage of Iranians that they still support them, everything the Islamic Republic does is for maintaining them. They don't want to lose that. Okay,
yeah, most stars are stable until they go supernova. They might have kept that mask on for a long time. They might drop it. The past is not a steady indicator of the future. It might change. They might say, fuck it. We want to live. These stupid motherfuckers with their caring about this nuclear and this Mahdi and this shit. I don't give a fuck about your Allah. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. I am the IRGC. I am your fucking God. And if you disagree, I'm going to kill you because I'm not going to go into another war. I'm not going to go through this hunger. I'm not going to have all my ship stops because you want your little fucking nuke. I don't give a shit what you want. And if you stand against me, I will kill you. I am the gun. And authority comes from the gun. It doesn't come from the Quran. It doesn't come from the Bible or the Torah. It comes from the gun. And you will bow to my gun. And if I tell you to get a circumcision and we're a fucking yarmulke, you'll do it or I'll kill you. That's one bet. That authoritarian. It happened to Mao's China. It happened in Stalin's Russia. It happened in Pol Pot's with their Khmer Rouge. Betting that won't happen is a losing bet.
So betting that would happen is also a losing bet, but I'm just going with odds because it might. That's what the Islamic Republic wants to do. That's why they bring the militias inside Iran. So I'm not saying I completely disagree with that, but it's not sustainable. They know it's not sustainable. We cannot rule over 0% support. The people that you need somebody to pull the trigger, and it's true that many people would pull the trigger for the sake of money, but some level of acceptance into the regime is required for this to be sustainable. Ruling over a population with 3% support, 4% support, even is doable. Ruling over a population with close to 0% support is unsustainable, and the Islamic Republic knows that.
I think your numbers are wrong.
I mean, I think my numbers
the amount
are
of
right.
people that are willing to kill anybody to stay alive and have the guns and don't care as much about the religion as they care about being the only ones staying alive and saying that they're the only ones getting the money. I think, oh my God, I think this is like it's like a refusal to look at reality here. Like this has happened over and over, all over the world, over and over and over again.
I know exactly what I'm talking about here. This is why Prince Reza Pahlavi has constantly communicated to the armed forces of the Islamic Republic that there's going to be a blanket forgiveness for the vast majority of the armed forces, right? Because that's exactly why the communication with the armed forces has been that you are going to stay alive, that there is not going to be a mass punishment of the people who have been part of the armed forces of the Islamic Republic, right? And that is something that scares the Islamic Republic. The Islamic Republic constantly tries to communicate to its armed forces that if we fall, they're going to come kill every single one of you. But what will actually happen is mostly the heads of the regime will be punished, and most of the body will be we're going to have a blanket amnesty. And if we could get that message out there more, the fall of the regime will become more imminent.
That's a goal-focused look and ignoring the situation I'm talking about. The situation I am talking about is them getting recognized by the United States as signing a deal, get recognized by the whole fucking planet as being the legitimate government, which means that it doesn't matter how many calls you make from the outside. I mean, if you could do that, do it now, right? Like this is ignoring the central point of my complaint. If you allow these people to have legitimacy by the United States and the whole planet, by allowing them to make a deal, that is the problem. You're jumping to that Pahlavi and the revolution and all this. I'm talking about a specific situation. Do not allow Iran to have legitimacy in front of the USA just because it gave up nukes. Do not give them that recognition, because if they get that recognition, accept backing down from nukes, they might clamp down on whoever complains because they have the backing of the United States and all the Gulf allies. Because what are they going to do? They're going to stand by what they say and remove the nuclear, let the inspections roll through, allow people in the strait, call everybody who doesn't want this to happen a traitor, and start doing deals with Saudi Arabia and Qatar. Is that we want peace now, new government, new things. And once that all that recognition is around them, they have first the recognition of the US, especially because they're standing by it. Then the recognition of Saudi Arabia, of all the Gulf allies. That leads the way to them being in charge and being able to clamp down on any Durka that doesn't agree, within or outside the government. Like I'm speaking a very specific thing.
Yeah. So again, guys, I'm just gonna go to the next video. I just want to say that I have observed what the Islamic Republic has done, and I'm pretty sure that for the foreseeable future, their main priority is to maintain their legitimacy. Let's go here. Let me see.
It has not been.
Let me see. Did I finish this video?
I don't think they'd want to have me disappointed.
Did we finish this video? I think we did. Let's go to this one.
159, but all at the bottom of the sea. They have no radar. They have very few drones left, despite what you see. And every once in a while, they're going to set some things up, but they don't have much left. And by the way, they are talking 159.
Yep. So we have heard this one before. Let me go to this one. Nothing new over there.
That the whole thing blows up. So did he get out ahead of you, or what happened there?
No, nobody got out ahead. I mean, I just say that in order to do it, they have to be a member of the Abraham Accords, which have been very successful. But it's time now that they do it. They and others didn't want to do it because of the problem that they had with Iran. You don't have that problem anymore. You don't have a great power there anymore. You have a problem, but the problem is disappearing day by day. They were the bully of the Middle East. They were not going to be that much of a bully anymore. They'll probably, I think, instinctively want to be. But you don't have the same problem that you would have had 4 or 5 months ago, before they had no Navy, no military, no anti-aircraft, no leaders. I mean, their leaders are gone. A lot of things have changed with respect to that country. So, no, we want them to, it's a two-way street, and we think it's very important for the future of the Middle East. The Abraham Accords have been incredibly successful for the countries, as you know, for the countries in them. And I think it's very important. So, at some point they'll join and they'll do their civil, to echo it, civil nuclear, but that's what it is. No enrichment, it's civil nuclear.
Quick question about Iran.
Oh, wait, this part, what is civil? Yeah. So again, oh my God, I don't want to open this can of worms again. I disagree with all of this.
Been incredibly successful for the countries, as you know, for the countries in them. And I think it's very important. So, at some point they'll join and they'll do their civil.
Wait, what is he talking about here? Trump says Saudi Arabia has to join the Abraham Accord. Yeah, okay. So, yeah, again, I 100% believe, in agreement that Saudi Arabia being pushed to join the Abrahamic Accords is a great, great thing to do. But again, I know people will disagree with me here. Allowing them to have any nuclear facilities is a big, 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 big mistake. And even if it doesn't happen, which seems like they're actually pushing for it, just the normalization of these Islamic countries having nuclear facilities is wrong. Even if they don't do enrichment, there's other ways to get nuclear bombs without enrichment of uranium, as long as you have these nuclear facilities. Even if you say, oh, we're going to stay there and we're going to observe them. No, you don't. I don't. This is a mistake. It's a mistake to even talk about giving Saudi Arabia nuclear facilities. It's a big mistake. It's not stable. Saudi Arabia is not stable. We might at some point have an Islamic revolution, and now they have nuclear facilities on Saudi Arabia. We learn that mistake. Didn't we see what happened? 1979, Iran, Islamic Revolution. We might have that in Saudi Arabia as well. There are many people there that are extremely anti-American, extremely anti-Israeli. That land should not, no Islamic country should be trusted with nuclear facilities. Didn't we learn this mistake with Pakistan? We're spending, United States spending billions of dollars every year giving aid to Pakistan's military because you don't want them to fall apart and give access to nuclear weapons to a whole bunch of jihadis. So why are we making the same mistake with Saudi Arabia? Bad mistake.
Didn't you predict that they would be pushed to the Abraham Accords like 3 months ago?
Yes.
Like you
I
predicted
mean,
this a long time ago, months ahead.
no,
Not the
yeah,
nuclear part. We know. Okay, I'm with you on that. Like I'm not like I'm like no. Like I can't argue with that. It's like completely agree. But I just want to point out to anybody out there, Arnold was completely right about Saudi Arabia being pushed into the Abraham Accords.
no, thank you, Monkey. That's sweet. You're not usually that sweet to me.
Well, we agree on like what 98, 99% of things. Like I'm gonna
Right.
remember because I agree.
Okay. Well, thank you. Yeah, I do like how President Trump is um, taking advantage of the weakness of the Arab countries around the Persian Gulf to push them closer and closer to the Abrahamic Accord. That's pretty good.
Look,
Even
look at the
one
bright
more.
side. Look at the bright
Yes.
side. What if they never get it? What if they sign the deal and they get slow rolled and slow rolled? Like we're pretty sure those people aren't going to get F-35s. And this nuclear thing, it may be a little faster, but and harder to combat. But you know, things may change. Like you know, let's get them to sign first, then see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, that would be a great 5D chess move, to be honest. If Saudi Arabia gets into the Abrahamic Accord and they don't get any nuclear uh, facilities, that would be fantastic. I will still be upset a bit that we even normalized talking about them getting it. You know what I mean? Like, for example, even with Turkey, even if they don't get F-35s, the fact that that was even like normalized, like, oh yeah, they should get it. Like, I still, maybe I'm too sensitive, but I still don't like it. You know, I don't like it. You shouldn't trust these countries. Every time with an Islamic country, yeah, it looked like giving them stuff like that seemed like a good idea at the time, and then eventually it backfired. It backfired with the Mujahideen in Afghanistan. It backfired with the mullahs. It backfired with the Islamic group in Gaza that eventually turned into Hamas. When the Israelis tried to use them against PLO, it always backfires. Something like, oh, it's an Islamic country, but they're on our side. Yeah, for now. Yeah. Anyways, let's continue.
Reposted Lara Loomer's interview with President Zelensky. What do you make of growing MAGA support for the war in Iran, or war in Ukraine, sorry?
Well,
the growing MAGA support for the war in Ukraine? That's nice. What?
Reposted Lara Loomer's interview with President Zelensky. What do you make of growing MAGA support for the war in Iran, or war in Ukraine, sorry?
Well, I think they support what I support. We just had a complete win in Arizona. The young gentleman who's Harry Enton, I believe his name is, the pollster, said Trump's 100% favorable. He gets everybody endorses wins, which is pretty much true. Everyone I endorse just about wins. So there seems to be a natural bond between me and MAGA, but I'm the one that created MAGA, and I know what MAGA wants better than anybody else. MAGA knows what MAGA wants, and MAGA is very happy. They want to see this done, and they're not going to be happy if it's not done. Make America great again. It's all about make America. We started that a long time ago. But the concept of not approving voter ID or not approving proof of citizenship, and I won't even get into the ballot thing because, we'll hold that maybe for another time. I think the two are 97, 98% issues.
I want to know about the first part, the growing support for Ukraine in MAGA. So this goes completely against the idea that MAGA is like the Tucker Carlsons, the Nick Fuenteses, is like isolationist. Is that true? Yeah. Look at this. So MAGA support for Ukraine has expanded significantly due to the shifting media narrative, strategic economic framing, and rising national security concern over foreign adversaries. Polling and congressional actions in 2025 and 2026 confirmed that a growing majority of conservative voters favor backing Ukraine's defense efforts. Wow. See, guys, they tried to tell us that MAGA is Nick Fuentes, Tucker Carlson. It's not. See, this is great proof that it's not. It's the ice.
I'll
it's
tell
not
you what the
ice
shift
cucks.
was. I know exactly what the shift was. At the beginning of the support for the war in Ukraine, it was done by the Biden. Well, it was done first by Trump, but largely during the Biden administration, there was some support there, and there was a lot of corruption because a lot of those Democrats and those people were doing shisty stuff, but not putting the money into where it was supposed to go, which was research, development, and weaponry. Because there was a lot of funny things going on with the money, everyone was very worried. Now, what we have in Ukraine is people that are defending themselves, creating weapons that help us, creating weapons that help our allies, and at a cheap cost. So now it's not so much that we're helping people that can't help themselves and won't ever help us. We're helping an ally that can help us on many fronts. We're helping an ally that is researching and developing great weapons for us, right? It's more of a quid pro quo than it's I give you. You understand? Like we see, okay, so this isn't just us giving stuff. We're getting something back from this. This is an investment and it's a good one. That's the shift.
Yeah, yeah. It's kind of the difference between giving somebody a fish and teaching them how to fish. Like investment is always better than charity.
And they're selling us great fish, fantastic fish,
Yes.
AI fish, flying fish that go boom boom, the best fish.
Yes. Fleshy Interloper give us a super chat saying no win without straight open and nuclear shutdown. I mean, it's no win without all of this gone, right? Straight open, no nuclear, no proxies, no support for terrorism, no suppression of the Iranian people, opening the economy, liberalizing the economy, normal relationship with the rest of the world, Pahlavi back. No win without Pahlavi back in Iran. No win without a transitional government under the leadership of Pahlavi. Because here's the thing: if you have that, you have everything, right? There is no win for us, for Americans, for Israelis, or for anyone else until we have a transitional government in Iran under the leadership of Princess of Pahlavi. If you get that, you get everything. You get normalization of relationship with Israel, United States. You get the Strait of Hormuz being completely open. You get no nuclear enrichment. You get tourism. You get investments. You get cultural exchange. You get stability in the Middle East. You get the bankruptcy of all of the terrorist groups that the Islamic Republic supports. You get all of it. Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you, Fleshy. Oh, what is this? You start this one.
Yeah, official today, no F-35s for Erdogan. See, but they signed a lot of stuff, though, right? We're probably going to get to use their bases. It's like, well, you don't get the F-35s, but we get to use them from here. All right? You don't get to fly it. You don't get to service it. But we get a base here. This is what I'm guessing happened. I'm going from the gut. But we get a base here, and you get us to fly F-35s for you. And as long as we agree on a target, hey, you're safe because we got F-35s here.
Thank you. Thank you to all the people who watch us from X. Appreciate you guys.
Very much appreciate you.
Look at this one. This is kind of funny. I love this one.
All different topics, all bad, everything bad. But here we are. I mean, here we are. In fact, when I'm finished, I'm going right back to the Oval Office. So I have to be doing okay. But we are all doing good together. That's why tonight, to show just how much I care about the press, and I want to save your ratings, I'm pleased to announce my intention to, and this is somewhat of a scoop, my intention to run for a fourth term as President of the United States. I will be doing that. I will be having an official. In fact, I think I have. Yeah. I won 3 times. Now I'm going to do it again. Thank you. I'm going to do it. Should be easy. I'm getting very good at running for president. No, I won 3 times, did very well the second time, by the way. It's a rigged election, but we don't have to talk about it. You know, it's interesting when you come back and you do a good job like we did, and you don't care about it so much, but we do have to tighten up these elections because they really are in seriously bad shape. But
That was amazing. That was awesome. That's love.
I think, look, personally, I think this is hilarious. But the problem with that joke is, like, I would say 60 to 75% of the people there didn't know if it was a joke. Like, with something like that, I know it's the correspondence dinner. It's supposed to be a joke, but it's like half the people are like, oh shit, here we go again. Here we go again. But I think it would get a lot of support, but I think he was kidding.
Oh, of course, of course. I mean, the fact that some people are going to take it seriously makes it even more funny. I mean, that's what I can't wait to see what that part being clipped out. Like, oh no, we told you. That is fantastic. He's such a great comedian. I don't know, he's so good. Wait, hold on. Oh, we got a super chat. Kayvon Shah saying no win without regime change. Yes, I mean no win without Pahlavi back in Iran, because we don't accept any not regime change. I think, in my opinion, is not enough, right? What if the Islamic Republic, like a regime change that doesn't lead to Pahlavi rule, is not a win? I mean, to be honest, I think if there's a regime change, it will be Pahlavi. Like, I don't see any other alternative other than Pahlavi. But I think a more complete way of saying this is no win with that return of Pahlavi to Iran.
Absolutely.
Guys, I know. Oh, thank you, Minky. I'm so glad that you guys recognize it. It used to not be something that people recognize other than Iranians.
Look, when I say transitional government, I'm talking about like the Nufti thing.
Yeah. Okay, I don't know what we're about to walk into, but let's do this one.
who should be here, he turned Palestinian. This was a man who was 100% for Israel. 100%. Chuck Schumer, crying Chuck. Remember, he cried at the airport over illegal immigrants. They were the fakest tears. There were people throwing water in his face. But now he's a proud, very proud Palestinian. In fact, I'm going to send him a beautiful Palestinian outfit tomorrow so he can greet Bibi Netanyahu when he comes to town next week.
Oh my God. What the hell?
Look,
That's amazing.
I don't know if that's a joke. I don't know how that's a joke. He just spit facts right there. I don't know. That's
Oh
not,
my
that's, he's just telling it like it is.
That was great. I loved it. That was beautiful. My God. Okay, more of this. I need more of this. This is pure comedy. Hold on. Let's see what we have here.
You people have no idea how lucky you are when I'm gone. You're all going to be broke. Your business model is going to be.
Oh, he's telling the media. He's telling the context is he's telling the media.
You people have no idea how lucky you are when I'm gone. You're all going to be broke. Your business model is going to be finished. No, it's true. When I'm not around, you're going to be broke. There's not going to be anybody to report on. Nobody gives a damn about anybody else. You people have no idea how lucky you are when I'm gone.
Oh, yeah. So that was, yeah. I
That's
mean, he's
absolutely
right.
true. That's
true.
It's not just true. It's true on both sides.
Yeah. Oh my God. Oh my God. That was so good. Okay.
There's no one to cheer as much for or hate as much.
Yes. That's so true. You think Marco Rubio being president would be, I mean, I would love Marco Rubio as president, but do you think it would be less, it's going to get less views, right? Like for the media, like it's not going to be as controversial, or I don't know, it's not going to get the same ratings, his presidency, for the media on both sides.
Marco Rubio wasn't a wrestler.
Right.
This guy was in the WWE. This guy had shows on TV for a very long time, ran a bunch of hotels. Like, he knows all about entertainment. He knows about how to rile up a crowd, which like his little stint on WWE is also a little crazy, right? He knows how to make fun of himself. He's actually funny. Like, Marcos Rubio is funny, but like he's not Trump. Like, he's not gonna be able to create as many moments for the left to go crazy over, and oh, he's crazy. Marco Rubio's gonna give him that, right? And on the right, it's like Marco Rubio is good, but he's not. I wouldn't say he's a comedian. This guy can basically do stand-up routine. Like, you go up there and you feel like you're going to a night at the Improv watching some stand-up comedians, because you don't know, like, especially the first term and the start of the and the campaign. Oh my God, like, this guy is literally an entertainer. Marco Rubio is a statesman. There's a very big difference. Very big. They are going to be broke. And it's going to be harder to go insane with what Marco says, because nothing that Marco says is insane.
True. Okay, let's do one more clip of President Trump. And then after that, I want to do a video that speaks against President Trump and another video that speaks in favor of President Trump. Let's watch this.
That Gavin Newsom has come out and said he will not be running for president because nobody can say what he said about himself and survive. Newsom was in big trouble when he openly admitted that Kamala was smarter than him. She said, Kamala is smarter. If Kamala is smarter than someone, you don't want that person to be president of the United States of America. Between California's policies of enabling wildfires, paying drug addicts to be homeless, giving free sex changes to illegals, and telling rich people they're going to take away, all of your money is going to be taken away. People are fleeing, and they're fleeing in droves. We can't have that in this country. It's becoming such a horrible and dangerous location that Ilhan Omar, one of my favorites, and her brother are thinking about moving together, very much in love. A video has surfaced recently of Ilhan giving a speech referring to World War II as World War 11. And they asked her about that. She thought she got it right. But I'm not surprised, because she's a low IQ person. And she's also a very dishonest person. And she ought to get the hell out of our country. She shouldn't be here. She shouldn't be in our country.
Spitting straight facts. Just spitting straight facts. Like, so true.
Oh my God, that's amazing. Okay. Oh my gosh, he brought up them being in love. I mean, her marrying her brother. I thought that was brutal.
That's facts, though. I mean, it's funny because it's true.
Okay. All right, I showed you that to prepare you for this take. So let's see. This is about President Trump and his Iran strategy, I think. Let me see what he's saying here.
And now we're
so guys, this is basically former Secretary of State Attorney Blinken says Trump is stuck in Iran in an Iran spiral. So that's what he's saying. Let's see what
a situation where the president seems to be in a corner that he can't get out of. Some have called it an escalation trap. I thought initially that he would be really hemmed in by two things: markets on the one hand, munitions on the other. Markets in the sense that the longer this went on, right, and you saw gas prices going up, as you
fertilizer,
saw
diesel,
as you saw fertilizer price, et cetera, that there would be a real constraint, especially the closer you got to midterm elections. And then munitions, we're fast running through a lot of critical munitions, both defensive as well as offensive, that we need in other theaters potentially to act as a deterrent. And I think the president knows that, or at least I hope he knows that. And I think he wants to get out of the corner he's put himself into. He's been looking for an off-ramp, but he can't find it. And he can't accept the proposition that he's also created an entirely new reality that didn't exist before this war, which is the Strait of Hormuz. There's a good reason.
That's the
and
big lie.
Tell us.
That he has created. Like, this is a war of choice. Like I've said before, these people had ballistic missiles that absolutely could reach Diego Garcia, right? Which means they could reach Europe. They have cluster munitions. They had enough uranium to make, I believe it was 11 nuclear warheads. I don't know if you make them a little smaller and put them in a cluster bomb, let it launch from orbit, how much harder it is to, stop them in midair. They would probably airburst anyway, and at any point that you could hit it is probably the same point at which you would detonate it anyway. So this notion that we didn't have to do this when we have so much evidence that this was a clear and present danger is one of the base lies, the foundational lies on which they build their house of castles when they try to fortify their position. I went very construction based there.
One thing I have to keep reminding people about the Strait of Hormuz is, guys, a lot of people think that President Trump started a problem with the Strait of Hormuz. Like he went into this and he caused the Strait of Hormuz problem. What President Trump did was not cause the Strait of Hormuz problem. He revealed the Strait of Hormuz problem. Because what this military operation shows is what the Islamic Republic would have been able to do a lot more effectively if we just didn't do what President Trump did. If we just allowed the Islamic Republic to continue building thousands of ballistic missiles and eventually get a nuclear weapon and continue to expand its proxies around the region, it would have gotten to the point where it would feel that nobody could respond to it meaningfully anymore. The same way that North Korea, for example, is a problem that nobody wants to deal with anymore. That's what they were going for. And once they got to that point, they would have closed the Strait of Hormuz because their understanding would have been that they could do that and nobody could do anything about it. And they would technically be correct. So what President Trump did is reveal that this is the problem that they could cause a lot more effectively if we didn't do anything about it. This is just a small taste of what would have happened anyways if nobody stopped the Islamic Republic. This needs to be explained to more people.
Yes.
A new reality that didn't exist before this war, which is the Strait of Hormuz. There's a good reason, Andy, why administration after administration, while trying to make sure that Iran never had a nuclear weapon, was very careful about the way we did that, and particularly not getting into a situation with them where they thought that the regime was existentially threatened, as they obviously do now. We knew that one thing that they could do would be to close the Strait
You
of Hormuz.
see how he
and it
slid
would be
that in there?
very
Well, hold on,
difficult
hold
for
on,
us
hold
to
on.
open it.
Sorry. Just it takes a while for me to pause it, but go on.
No, no worries, no worries. Like, did you see how he said not get ourselves in a situation where the regime feels existentially threatened? Like, that's a bad position. That is a good
Right.
position. They should be threatened and they should be eliminated. For him to say that the smart thing is not to allow them to even feel existentially threatened, that's crazy.
That actually confirms, Monkey. That's a good catch. Good job. And that also confirms that they're technically allies of the Islamic Republic. If their agenda, and your mic is on. Guys,
Sorry.
is it just me or am I? Oh no, it's okay. Sorry for interrupt. Anyways, never mind. So what I was saying is like, let me know if you guys agree with this or not. But when he comes and talks as if their agenda is to make sure that the Islamic Republic is not feeling threatened, that to me confirms that the Biden administration was an ally of the Islamic Republic. Is that too much of a stretch for me to say that?
I would believe that's on point.
Okay.
Again, absent some kind of land invasion of Iran, a country of 90 million people. And in addition,
No, that's another lie. Look at this. Here, listen.
Hormuz, and it would be very difficult for us to open it again, absent some kind of land invasion of Iran, a country of 90.
No, you're forgetting the Iranian people. You're forgetting the Iranian people. You forget that that's there. You completely erase them. You completely erase them. You forget that they just did an uprising. Millions of them did an uprising. Absent of a grand invasion, you don't need a grand invasion at that level. You just need the Iranian people. Completely dismissing that that the vast majority of the Iranian people want to take down the regime. Why are you not considering that option? Are they invisible to you?
The easiest way to do that, as far as I can see, take over some islands, declare the regime not the government in power, say we're going to start working with local cities and towns, start from the south to the north, vet people, and keep going up and up and up.
Exactly. And you do, and yeah, vet them, train them, arm them, vet, train, arm, under the leadership of Princess of Pahlavi. And when you go up and up and up, you don't need to go up and up and up. You could just stay in the south. They will go up, they will go north. They will go east and west first and then north. You could just stay there.
You would
could just
ask
stay in
all the
south.
defectors to report it. Don't bring weapons. Report yourself in for vetting and training. You know, we'll put you through a couple of polygraphs. You know, do you some brain scans. Make sure you're loyal, and then we'll start the training and the switch up. Oh, we got great technology now.
I mean, even if you didn't, by having that might make them feel like they can't lie. But you could also use the intelligence of Mossad and the knowledge of Princess of Pahlavi's team on people, because they're already like in touch with a lot of locals, right? So you could do all of that to be able to vet people. There are good ways to vet people.
Use it all. I mean, use it all.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
90 million people. And in addition to that, we have troops in the region.
You look at this. He says 90 people. And yeah, 90 million people are on your country's side. I was going to say your side, and then I realized, remember, he's a Democrat, so no, they're not on your side. But 90 million people that are on your country's side. So they're not, like he says, with a country of 90 million people, as if that's an obstacle. The 90 million people are an asset. They're not an obstacle. They're an asset. It's like the 90 million people are not on the Islamic Republic side. They're on America's side.
And in addition to that, we have troops in the region, whether it's in Saudi Arabia, whether it's in UAE, whether it's in Qatar, whether it's in Iraq, who would be endangered. And what have we seen? They closed the strait and they've killed our troops. So this was not thought through. And beyond that, getting out.
Okay, he's using American soldiers or using fallen American servicemen to make a political. You know, this is like a miss. This is like I think this is disgusting. Is it like? But I'll let Monkey just speak, because I think you have a more right to speak to this than me. But would it be right to assume that this, like, for me to say this is disgusting, that he's using your fallen as a way?
They always do this. They create a terrible situation that put our soldiers in a bad position, and when in the line of duty of fixing the problem they created, because this is all because of the JCPOA that they created. This is their fault. We have to go in now and fix the problem that they created. It was Jimmy Carter, CBS, NBC, ABC, and BBC that started promoting the Ayatollah, and pressure from the media and part of his cabinet, I'd say about a third of them, that led Jimmy Carter to help the Ayatollah instead of backing, the Shah, right? So they put us in this position all throughout history, and then when it comes to pay the price in blood, they say, "Oh my God, how could this happen? Oh no, I care so much." These are the people that put us in this position. They don't care. These are the same people that say defund the police, that say that our military is a colonial nightmare, like that we have to get rid of all our bases. They don't care about our military, not even a little bit. These are the same people that were trying to fire military personnel if they didn't want to get a vaccine. which should be the epitome of freedom of choice. Like, if you don't want to, okay, we'll work something else with you. We're gonna look at your medical record. We're gonna see what's going on with you. But forcing you with no pay, like, at the very minimum, you would give them a dignified out, because you can't force that on people. You can't force medical procedures on people. You can't do that, especially an untested, unvetted, fast crack vaccine. Like, I'm not, I do believe in some freedom of choice. I did take a lot of drugs when I was in the army, but I didn't know any better. They just punch it all in your arm. There's a lot of medical conditions that don't go with certain.
All right. So I wanted to really highlight, I've been waiting to highlight this comment. So this is a comment from inside Iran and saying, به ما مخالفان نظام اسلحه بدین، دهن این رژیم فاسد و آسفالت بکنیم، نمیخواد امریکا اسرائیل دخالت کنه. Okay, so this is one person's view from inside Iran. He's saying, again, YouTube, this is not my view. I mean, it might be, it is, but I'm not advocating for anything here. Well, let me actually say, I'm just reading a comment from inside Iran, okay? And whether I agree with parts of it or not, like, that's not the point, but I'm just reading the comment from inside Iran to let people know what views from Iran are like, right? He's saying, give us, the people against the regime, weapons. This person is saying this corrupted, we will F up this corrupted regime. The Americans and Israelis wouldn't need to do anything. He's saying that just give us the weapons to fight the regime and we will finish the job. So that's one person's comment from inside Iran.
Yeah, I agree. We just don't want them to fall in the hands of the IRGC. That's it. But yeah, absolutely agree.
Yes, that's why we need vetting. But ممنون از شما. من کامنت شما رو خوندم، نمیدونم حالا انگلیسیش رو متوجه شده یا نه، ولی خوندم برای اینکه بقیه بدونن که پیام شما از ایران چیه. ممنون از کامنتتون. And then we got Kevin here. Thank you so much, Kevin, with a membership gift, another membership gift. Thank you so much for supporting us always. I appreciate that. Okay, so this was an anti-Trump video. Let's do a pro-Trump video by Senator Tommy Tuberville. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. Tuberville.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, really? Okay, good.
President Trump, we got a commander in chief. He got 80 million votes. He should be able to do what is right for the country.
And what do you think about sending troops on the ground? Would you support that too?
That's up to him. I'm not going to get in that conversation because he says he's not going to, but if it escalates, you'd have to do it. So it's up to him.
So troops on the ground, guys, remember, troops on the ground doesn't necessarily mean a ground invasion at the scale of what we saw in 2023 with Saddam. Remember, like, that first round of ground operations. I know a lot came after, but that first ground operation that led to the toppling of Saddam was 300,000 people, around 300,000 people, if I remember. And remember, Iraq is much smaller than Iran, and it doesn't have the fortress, the whole, like, Iran's geography makes it much more difficult for a ground operation. So you probably need a lot more than 300,000. But when we're talking about ground operations, there's 3 levels to this. We're either talking about special operations, which is on a much limited level. Then we're talking about the highest level is what I just described with Saddam in Iraq, but there's a mid-level as well, where it's not just a special, like, when I say a special operation, it's like you go in, you take somebody, or you kill somebody, or you blow up somebody, and you're out. But there's also an in-between, which you might go, and what Monkey describes, to go out and take some islands and hold some smaller territory in south of Iran for a period of time. That is the midsection. So when you hear ground operation, don't just think like we're talking about like a full invasion of Iran, like what we saw with Saddam, right? You agree with that, Monkey?
It's like a humanitarian stabilization act. Like, you wouldn't legally define it as a ground invasion and war. You would have a completely different definition for it, and it would achieve the purpose of stabilization and assistance to local forces. without. Oh my God. Oh my God.
I'm, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It's short. It's short. Don't worry. It's short. Okay. You okay, Monkey? I'm sorry.
It's like 3 tards and a blonde.
Oh
I
my
don't know
God.
her. She might be cool. But these 3, I don't know.
Yeah. Your reaction is so good. Okay.
Caught
All
me
right.
off guard because I was talking, looking down, and then I look up and I'm like, oh God.
Okay. The one after
I
is
think
okay.
you're
Okay?
getting that I'd rather hear Nick than this guy.
Yeah. Okay. So the next one is going to be great. Okay. The next one is going to be fine. Okay. So just let me go through this one. I'll play it. Is it okay if I play it and while I go do a washroom break? I'll be right back. Is that okay?
Go for it. Go for it.
Okay. I'll be right back. Okay.
He launched the war. Those people are dead as a result of it. This is what leadership comes down to, right? Okay. Now, here's the interesting thing about this latest round. We're at the darkest point in this war so far, Pierce. He's back to threatening, and now he's even taken moves toward bridge and power plant day. He's threatening to do this the next time. The Iranians are not backing down. But Pierce, what's really different about this go around of the war? Last week, in his walk down, he walked away from all of the original war aims, Pierce. Every last reason that we supposedly were fighting this war. He backed off of the first point in the memorandum of understanding is that there'll be a ceasefire in Hezbollah. So we're not saying they can't fund their terrorist proxies. He walked away from ballistic missiles. He walked away from the nuclear dust. He walked away from zero enrichment. He walked away from the whole thing. We're just fighting over the Strait and Lebanon now, 2 issues that didn't exist before the war. I mean, I'm sorry, 5 months into it, if that's not
Why, it's such a lie. He didn't walk away from all of them. He talks about nuclear all the time. In fact, that's the main thing he talks about.
It's not
What do you
just
mean he
that.
walked away?
He's talking like there's a paper out there with stated goals.
But if there was a goal that was communicated, it's still that. I mean, it's still that. I mean, if there's anything they communicate with us the most, is that. What are we talking about?
He is pretending that paper exists. The people listening might not know and say, well, maybe if he just stated blah, 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 we know because we know. But the way he's wording it is he's wording it like there's an agreement to be made and he knows what's on the table and things were removed. That's the framing.
Okay, let's continue.
a disaster, I don't know what is.
Yeah, I mean, Andrew, you know, it is a disaster, isn't it? I mean, I don't see how Trump can extricate any kind of legitimate victory here. Do you?
I mean, the Islamic Republic has been the weakest it has ever been in the past few decades. Nobody has managed to cause more damage to the Islamic Republic than the joint U.S.-Israeli military operations. All of the heads of IRGC are dead. The supreme leader is dead. I mean, if this doesn't look like an initial phase of and also it's not even over. It's been what, 5 months? How long has it been? It's like, imagine if 5 months into the Cold War, you said like, oh yeah, United States lost the Cold War. The Cold War took more than 40 years, and everybody knows that United States won that. So what is 5 months and everything? They have had more success in 5 months than any military operations in this scale that I've ever seen. If this doesn't look like winning, I don't know what does. Right, Menke?
Look, I hate these fake conservatives. They're about as Jewish as Hitler's yarmulke. They're over here pretending to be America first. They're America last. This is why all the gains, fake gains that the woke right has are because the mainstream media props them up. They prop up the alleged division. They prop these two up like they represent America first values. It's an absolute lie. And then they'll put a lefty, and then I don't know if she's a lefty, but then you have 3, 4, 5 people that all agree that everything Trump is doing wrong and you should vote Democrat. Oh, but it's a varied panel.
No. I don't. There's
Where he agrees.
Trump can extricate any kind of legitimate victory here. Do you?
no. I don't. This has not been a good foreign policy decision for the Trump administration. I not only concede that that's true, but never thought it was a great idea. I think that I would disagree with Dave, and I guess a nuanced way, that I think that Trump became very overly reliant on his very decisive military victories that he did have, that were always very limited, very quick, mission accomplished, he was out, and then he could brag. This is altogether a different situation. So no, I don't think that this is good for the administration. I wish that they would focus back on domestic policies, as Democrats have nothing at all to offer. Nobody's excited about any Democrat candidates. That's where the war should be being fought, is domestically.
I don't. People don't understand. I don't know if these isococks never understand how much having a great defense, how much destroying your enemies, how important it is to maintain global security and international trade, and destroying the people who wish you harm, how much that impacts you domestically, how important that is for your citizens domestically. They keep saying, like, I wish he was focusing on domestic stuff, as if they're not related, as if the global trade that your entire economy is connected to is not related to the international trade, the international maritime trade that your army is securing, that your enemies are trying to disrupt. That if you allow your enemies to get stronger, it will becomes more and more difficult to maintain that stability, and it will become more and more difficult to maintain the backbone of global economy, which is international maritime trade, which will come and hurt you exactly domestically. The domestic. They keep throwing around that word domestic, focus domestically, as if these things are complete, as if United States lives in a bubble, in a vacuum, disconnected from the rest of the world. Your entire economy is connected to the rest of the world. You need everybody, not just United States, every country in the world relies on United States military. Maybe too much. They rely too much on US military being there everywhere, maintaining security and stability. And that requires the enemy of this security and stability, every time they're growing, every time they're becoming stronger, to be put in their place, to be defeated, to be annihilated. These people don't, I mean, they do get it. They're just lying.
I mean, I was gonna say it, but like, you jumped in there at the last second and said it, so now I don't have to say it. They get it. They're just lying. He's full of shit. He's a liar. He's a fake. He's a phony.
I mean, every time I say these people don't get it, it's a figure of speech,
Hey, some people might not get it, so I'm right there like Johnny on the spot saying, hey, he's full of shit. He knows he's lying. Well, I don't know what this guy's name is. I think it's Andrew something.
Yeah, Andrewson.
And the other one is Dave Smith, I think. These guys are both just so full of shit, so fake America first, so fake conservative. They're both, I think they're libertarians. And the thing about libertarians is that a couple of them are very deluded and they just play concern troll for Democrats.
We got a super chat. Do you want to, by Tao Fei? Do you want to read this one?
Oh, there it is. Boots on the ground is, well, not what they want, but what is. Nothing to see here. All right. They got a lot of complaints, not one solution.
Oh, okay. I didn't get what the super chat meant. Thank you, Thank you, Tao Fei. Thank you, Monkey, for translating that. Okay, so guys, the next video is not as bad. Okay, it's not as bad. It's just Nick Fuentes and Hunter Biden, okay, talking with each other. Yes, I think that's okay, right?
No, okay. You underestimate the sliminess of the dirtbag on the left.
Oh, who is this?
They're all bad. This is the Channel 5 guy, but he's also a scummy.
Okay. So why is Hunter Biden speaking to Nick Fuentes? I don't know what's going. Why is there a bed in the background? Are they have? Are
It's
they?
Hunter
what-
Biden. You can't interview him if there's not a bed somewhere in the room. That's like on the contract, all brown M&Ms bed.
Yeah. Unbelievable. Oh, before I play this, by the way, I just want to make sure I remember this, guys. The admins on the chat, you guys have been amazing. I forgot to thank you guys. You guys keeping the you're keeping the chat here spam free. People come here and spam, and they sometimes put all caps, making it like over and over again, making the chat hard to just we have to recognize, we have to appreciate our mods. You guys are love you guys. Thank you for the work that you do. All right, let's watch this beautiful, wholesome clip of these wonderful people. Let's see what they have to say.
This is like a
First,
motel. This looks like a motel, like a nice motel from back in the 50s, 60s, 70s.
yes. Okay. All right. Let's see if this is any good takes here.
And you said I like the cruelty. I do not like the cruelty.
No, by the way, no. I didn't say you like the cruelty. I said I'm listening to your thing, and you said one of the things that you liked about Levin was the cruelty. And not for the cruelty's sake, it didn't seem to me like this, is because it was raw.
Dazzling,
it was,
yeah.
Yeah. And that's it. So I'm not saying that.
No, but I agree. I think he is cruel. And even with
when he's saying he is cruel, they're talking about President Trump. He's talking about President Trump.
So I'm not saying that.
No, but I agree. I think he is cruel. And even what he said on Easter. I mean, we're Catholic. On Easter Sunday, he says we're going to annihilate Iran. And then he made fun of Allah on Easter Sunday. So, that kind of
he didn't make fun of Allah. He praised Allah. I don't know what she's talking about.
stuff. It just totally turned me off entirely.
Wait, is he offended on behalf of Muslims now? Like, is he PC now?
This is absolutely a Tucker Carlson take. He says he hates Tucker Carlson, but that's where that whole line comes from. No one gave a damn about this except the left until Tucker Carlson started crying about it.
Unbelievable. So these were the same people who were like anti-PC culture, anti-woke, people getting offended, and now he's like, Trump is so cruel. He made fun of Allah. Are you kidding me? This is incredible.
They're just anti-Jew.
They have, they might as well be pro Allah. It's the greatest anti-Jewish force out there, right? The Islam. So yeah, makes sense.
Entirely. Is there anything that you think Trump can do to regain the support of the, I guess, Gen Z and millennial right?
No, it's over. People see what he's made of. And Hunter's right. He's a liar. He is a liar. He is a bullshit artist. And especially, you look at what he did with the Epstein files, with the war in Iran, what he did to Thomas Massey, you realize that if you are America first, you have no place in this Republican Party. Because he said it. He said our Republican Party, or rather, he said MAGA is Mark Levin, Laura Loomer, Randy Fine. He said, and who is not MAGA? Megyn Kelly, Tucker, Alex Jones, Candace. And I think most Republicans said, well, we're with those other people.
No, they didn't.
That's a lie.
That's a lie.
Like, the polls absolutely show that everything he just said is a lie. Not only a lie, but opposite to reality.
That's not what
right? Because it's not like saying, 2 + 2 is 8. It's not like saying, okay, there 2 + 2 is 4, right? It's not like saying it's 0. They're saying it's -4. They're going in the complete opposite direction of the truth, diametrically opposed to the truth. A lie would be it's not that much, it's about 50-50. They're no, the majority. No, that's absolutely a lie.
For you to believe this, you have to just permanently live on, I don't know, X or whatever his goes lives, and and not look at any polls, and just like, even if you're on social media, just be in that echo chamber and refuse to look at anything else. Like, if he says, the majority of Republicans are choosing Tucker Carlson, Candace Owens, me, and not them, The only way that this works is that if you don't spend like half a minute looking into whether he's right or not. That's the only way.
Another thing that he's doing here is like he is trying to take his audience into not voting for the Republicans or voting for a Democrat. He is absolutely like going for a punish vote or going for the opposite like of supporting conservatives.
Ooh, Monkey, I forgot that we need to make sure we have only 4 minutes. So let's just do the super chats. Hana, thank you so much for the super sticker. And then Taufei with a super chat. Thank you so much, Taufei. Very generous. Thank you so much for supporting us. Saying, love that you do the fair and balanced stuff. That way we can all see the stupid leaking. Thanks, guys. That's why I only tune into Armin, Goldie, and Monkey. What's up, brother? The best is yet to come. Stay tuned. Oh, that was sweet. Thank you. Thank you, Taufei.
I love Goldie. Goldie's good people. Tulsi's good people. Ollie, someone you might want to check out. Guy, great guy. Love that guy. Guy Landau, also a good guy. But we'll be here soon. You can come back in about an hour.
Notice, guys, how when he gives you a list of who's great, he never includes me, Bunky. He doesn't like.
Oh,
to
you're
include
here
me.
because I'm only with the best, So if I'm there, like
Oh,
you
okay.
gotta know that's a great person.
Okay. Speaking about the best, guys, don't forget to subscribe to Monkey's channel. I'm gonna put the link to his channel in the chat. And also both Monkey and I are going to be. Oh no, I put it in his own chat. I didn't put it in Liberty Politics. I made a mistake. Okay.
Slowly but surely getting to 1,000.
Yes. We're going there. And Monkey, will you be in the discussion group today? Let me put the link.
Yes. I may have to go eat. I don't know if I'm gonna eat right here. I'm gonna go out, but I should be here. I might miss a little bit of the start, but I'll be here.
All right, guys. I'm gonna put the link to our discussion group in the chat. We're gonna have a group call in about an hour. But if you can't join our group call to talk to us, you could just come watch it on live on Liberty Politics. So make sure you're subscribed to Liberty Politics on YouTube and hit the bell notification so that whenever we go live, you don't miss it. I need to end the stream fast because if we go over 3 hours, it will be difficult. I need to pay our editor more because she's going to spend more time cutting into pieces to be able to upload them. So I'm going to end it now. Sorry, guys. Sorry for rushing it. Okay. All right, guys. I'll see you guys. I'll see you guys in 1 hour. And until then,
bye. Just cut it. Bye.
No, we're gonna super chat Taufei saying, I owe a super chat for forgetting Ali Samani. So here you go. Okay, thank you so much. Bye, love you, Taufei. I'm Israel Chai, Slava Ukrainia, Cuba Libre, long live America, Javicha, Payande, Iran.
Iran.
See you guys. Okay.